Chapter 1073. Zhu Lingling didn't expect something like this to happen on such an important day, especially in front of Gao Ran. It was so embarrassing. What's wrong? Gao Ran was worried sick. She didn't want to tell him, so he was worried sick. Zhu Lingling raised her hand and looked at Gao Ran. Her face was red as she slowly said, My period came. Gao Ran was speechless when he saw her crying face. Gao Ran didn't know what to say. Was there anything scarier than a girl having her period? So, what should I do now? Gao Ran asked dumbly. Zhu Lingling was so embarrassed. She remembered that her period was supposed to come around the 5th. Why did it come 5 days early? It was killing her. Can you help me buy that? Zhu Lingling wanted to dig a hole in the ground to hide after she said that. Okay, that supermarket sells it, right? Gao Ran was still confused. Zhu Lingling nodded shyly. Gao Ran immediately parked his car next to the supermarket and got out of the car sneakily. As a police officer, he was never this scared, even when he was arresting criminals. However, he was terrified this time. What do you want to buy? The supermarket girl looked at Gao Ran sneakily. Her attitude was very bad. They sell it, right? Gao Ran said in a low voice. Which one? The girl was a bit impatient. The one that women use. Gao Ran lowered his head. It's on the last shelf. See for yourself. When Gao Ran came back, Zhu Lingling's face was already very pale. Are you okay? Gao Ran asked worriedly. Every time my period comes, it hurts like hell, just like Huamin. Both of us used to like to eat cold food, so now we're suffering 7 days a month. I'm really going to die. Zhu Lingling covered her stomach with both hands, looking like she was in great pain. Then, what should we do? Gao Ran was a little confused. He didn't know how to help her. Let's go to the hotel first. I'm going to change into a dress. This is definitely dirty. Zhu Lingling said dejectedly. Gao Ran nodded and got in the car. Jiang Xiaowei's wedding was held at the 5-star Wanjing International Hotel. Because the hotel was owned by the Wei family, it didn't cost any money. Wei Liao's family was quite influential in the city. As a young tycoon, Wei Liao was as famous as Su Yu and the others. They were ranked as one of the 4 young masters, so the scene would definitely be very grand. Zhu Lingling was very happy that Jiang Xiaowei invited her. She and Jiang Xiaowei met through Huamin. Although they hadn't been suffering from insomnia for long, it was rare for them to get along. Therefore, she specially prepared a bridesmaid dress for herself. Unfortunately, it was dirted by the surprise attack of Ant Flo. In short, she was in a very bad mood. After arriving at the hotel, Zhu Lingling rushed to the bathroom to change. He waited for a long time, but she still didn't come out. Gao Ran was so anxious that he wanted to rush into the ladies' room. Luckily, just as Gao Ran was about to take action, Zhu Lingling walked out shakily. She looked terrible. You look very serious. Gao Ran looked at her. Nonsense, if you were bleeding so much, you would be in serious condition too, Zhu Lingling retorted worriedly. Then what should we do? The ceremony is about to start. Gao Ran looked at his watch and was a little troubled. I don't think I can make it. The dress is too small, and the skirt is too short. What if I leak when I'm bleeding so badly? Plus, our custom here is that if someone's on their period can't be a bridesmaid, it's bad luck. Wouldn't I be putting Xiaowei in a bad spot? Zhu Lingling looked worried. How about, you let Huamin take your place? Gao Ran suddenly said. Zhu Lingling raised her head and looked at Gao Ran with a complicated expression. Chapter 1074. Will it work? Zhu Lingling didn't seem to think that this was a good idea. Other than Huamin, there's no one else. As far as I know, Jiang Xiaowei only has you two as her friends, and only you two are familiar with the international process. If it's a stranger now, it might mess up, Gao Ran analyzed calmly. But Su Yu is the groom. Xiaowei only asked me to avoid suspicion, Zhu Lingling reminded him. She's just worried that Qin Chu will be angry. That's fine, we can tell Qin Chu. The point is, you definitely can't be the bridesmaid. We can't interfere with their wedding. Hearing Gao Ran's words, Zhu Lingling felt that it made sense. In the end, she could only nod and agree. When they found Huamin, it was almost 9 p.m. The ceremony started at 9:30 p.m., and time was tight. Huamin was easy to talk to, and after understanding the situation, he agreed immediately. Gao Ran was worried that Qin Chu would think too much, so he specially called Qin Chu. In fact, although Qin Chu was jealous and cared about Huamin, he wasn't unreasonable. No one could predict this kind of thing, so Qin Chu agreed on the spot without hesitation. Zhu Lingling washed the dirty corner of the gown and handed it to Huamin. Needless to say, Huamin looked really beautiful in the white gown. First of all, she was very thin and had a good waist. Second of all, she was very white, so she looked even more beautiful in the white gown. Her hair was casually draped over her shoulders and curled up naturally. Her face was very light nude makeup. When Huamin walked into the VIP lounge in the white gown, inside, Jiang Xiaowei, Wei Liao, and Su Yu were all dumbfounded. "Min, why are you here?" This was the place where the groomsmen and bridesmaids discussed the wedding. So when he saw Huamin, he was naturally very surprised. Especially Su Yu, it was the first time he saw Huamin wearing a white veil. He felt like he was dreaming. Seeing Huamin walking towards him in her white veil, Su Yu felt his heartbeat quicken and his breathing quicken. He just stared blankly at Huamin. Lingling's situation is special, so she can't be the bridesmaid. "I'll do it," Huamin explained with a smile. It's so sudden. But it's starting in half an hour." Wei Liao was still worried. "It's okay. She told me the process. I won't mess it up." Huamin looked at Xiaowei and Wei Liao, full of confidence. "Yes, I believe you." Xiaowei was very happy to have Huamin as her bridesmaid. Then she asked, "Where's Qin Chu?" "He didn't come. He's very busy at work, so my family sent me to represent." Huamin continued to chuckle. Oh. Jiang Xiaowei finally relaxed. "Okay then, we'll go up as soon as the ceremony starts. Thank you for your hard work." Jiang Xiaowei intimately held onto Huamin's hand. Wei Liao turned around and saw that Su Yu was still staring straight at Huamin. So, he coughed softly and said, "Lord Su, are you awake?" "What did you say?" Su Yu finally came back to his senses. "I said, are you awake?" Wei Liao laughed. "I didn't sleep at all. Don't tease me, okay?" Su Yu could tell that Wei Liao was teasing him and immediately retorted. "Then I'll have to trouble the two of you. There's still 15 minutes left. Go touch up your makeup a little. I'll go check on the MC." After speaking, Wei Liao held onto Jiang Xiaowei's hand and left the waiting room. Only Huamin and Su Yu were left in the room. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. "This is the first time I've seen you wear a white dress." Su Yu looked up at Huamin and said in a serious tone, "This is Lingling's dress." "It doesn't fit me very well," Huamin replied with his head lowered. "No, it's super beautiful," Su Yu said anxiously. Then, he realized that he was speaking the wrong way and immediately corrected himself. "You look good in it too." He turned his head away, not daring to look into Huamin's eyes. "Su Yu." Huamin gently called out his name. He suddenly felt that this was the most gentle voice in the world. "Yes." He looked up. "I'm especially grateful for the military doctor. You've had to go through a lot to help me." Huamin respectfully bowed to Su Yu after he finished speaking. He looked especially formal. With this, Su Yu started to panic. Chapter 1075. I told you it's nothing. Don't bow like I'm dead." Seriously? Su Yu felt very uncomfortable when she saw Huamin acting like this. "Qin Chu and I are very grateful to you for lending us a helping hand when we were on the brink of death. Also, I heard that you sacrificed a lot to help us. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know that you've never lacked anything since you were young, so I don't think there's anything you can ask me for. And I'm saying if in the future, if I ever need help, just ask. I, Huamin, will definitely do my best to help." Huamin's magnanimous words were from the bottom of his heart. These weren't empty words, nor were they out of courtesy. She really wanted to have the chance to repay Su Yu's kindness. "I just hope that when I go to Southside in the future, Dr. Huo will go easy on me." Su Yu joked. Huamin burst out laughing as well. Thinking back to Su Yu's days at Southside, it was quite interesting. They bickered and fought all day, but in the end, they became friends. Just then, the host pushed open the door and walked in. "Are you the best man and maid of honor?" she asked. "We are," the two of them replied. "Good. Then get ready, it's about to start." Huamin nodded. Su Yu nodded as well, and then the two of them walked out of the lounge. The Wei family's banquet had hundreds of tables. The largest hall on the second floor of the hotel was filled with people. Each table had 8 people, densely packed together. It was said that the standard banquet cost 88,000 yuan per table. There were 18 famous dishes, including double-headed abalone and Boston lobster that were flown in from abroad. They were extremely luxurious. The Wei family spent tens of millions on this banquet alone. They really put in a lot of money. It was obvious that the witch, Jiang Xiaowei, had already subdued the 2 elders of the Wei family. Just then, the countdown began, the wedding march started playing. Following the host's opening remarks, Huamin helped Jiang Xiaowei, who was dressed in a splendid wedding dress, onto the stage. After that, Huamin stood behind Jiang Xiaowei and did not steal the show. Next, let's welcome today's male lead onto the stage. Along with the explosive music, Wei Liao walked onto the stage in a black slim-fit suit. From this perspective, both of them were very good-looking. Huamin didn't pay much attention to Wei Liao, but today he suddenly realized that Wei Liao was also a handsome guy. Needless to say, Jiang Xiaowei was a beauty with canine teeth when she smiled. She was a beauty who could transform into a tigress when she was fierce. "Groom, today is the most important day of your life. Are you happy to marry such a beautiful and gentle bride?" the host asked. "Very happy." Wei Liao smiled. "Okay, if you're happy, then hurry up and propose. You know how to propose, right? You don't need me to tell you, right?" "I know," Wei Liao said with a smile as he knelt down on one knee in front of Jiang Xiaowei. He handed her the bouquet in his hand, then held the microphone with his other hand and said, "Honey, will you marry me? From now on, what's mine will be yours, and what's yours will still be yours. Let's work together to eat and sleep. From today onwards, our family of 3 will officially become the closest people in the world." After Wei Liao finished speaking, the audience began to whisper to each other. He had exposed the baby in Jiang Xiaowei's womb. Wei Liao's parents beamed with joy, and the 2 elders of the Jiang family nodded in satisfaction. Jiang Xiaowei couldn't help but smile as she took the bouquet. Then, she reached out to help Wei Liao up with a blissful smile on her face. The audience burst into thunderous applause. "I heard that you 2 got married in a flash?" the host asked. "That's right." Wei Liao nodded. "I heard that today's groomsmen and bridesmaids are your matchmakers? Come, let's welcome the groomsmen and bridesmaids," the host said fluently. Huamin walked up from behind, and Su Yu also walked up the stage. The audience once again burst into thunderous applause. At the dining table, Song Yisher sneered, "How can a married woman be a bridesmaid? What a joke!" Chapter 1076. Song Yisher also attended Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei's wedding. The truth was she didn't want to come, but her mother insisted. She said that the Wei family was a prestigious family in the city, so they had to get along well. Although her father was the mayor, she was also closely related to the rich. To be honest, Song Yisher really hated Jiang Xiaowei. Because she had been tricked by her several times, moreover, it was the kind that couldn't be said out loud. However, she thought about it carefully and still decided to come. After all, their interactions on Weibo made their fans think that they were close. Song Yisher always liked to pretend to be a lady and wouldn't fight with anyone in public, so she had to maintain her image. Therefore, she took a photo of Jiang Xiaowei from afar and posted 8 selfies, making a total of 9. After she collected them, she immediately posted them on her WeChat friend circle and Weibo. She wrote, "Dear Slightly, you must be happy forever. I'm happy for you, I'm touched by you." After the post was posted, the fans began to fantasize again. "Goddess, why didn't you post a photo of you and Dr. Jiang? Song Goddess, why aren't you the bridesmaid? Why is it a young lady Qin who is already married? That's weird. Aren't you more suitable? Sister Song, are you afraid that you won't be able to get married as a bridesmaid? Huh? you didn't even go up on stage. What a pity, I think you'll look like in a white dress. Young Master Wei and Dr. Jiang are so compatible. They're so handsome. Today is a good day. The whole city is paying attention to the Wei family's wedding. There's even a live broadcast on TV. They're not celebrities, they're even better than celebrities. The power of a rich family is immense. Song Yisher scrolled through the post and felt that these people were all idiots. She ignored them and continued to watch the ceremony. Su Yu and Huamin were asked to go up on stage and seemed a little nervous. It was Su Yu's first time being a groomsman. Only Wei Liao and Tang Chuan had the honor to ask him to be a supporting role. Although Huamin had been Lu Xing's bridesmaid before, she was still nervous today. After all, there were too many people and the live broadcast was too grand. Below the stage, Huasiqian looked at Huamin with a deep gaze. My little sister Mia, you're so beautiful today. After knowing her for so many years, this was the first time he saw Huamin wearing a white veil. Her legs were slender, and she looked extremely cute in her little heels. His eyes never left Huamin. He didn't even listen to the host's lines. I heard that the two newlyweds were able to get married because of you. The host asked Su Yu with a smile. You can say that, Su Yu replied modestly. Lord Su, can you tell us what happened? I can't tell you the details, it's a secret. Otherwise, Wei Liao will kill me, but I can tell you that they got together after drinking. Then, there was an unforgettable video. Su Yu wanted to laugh when he thought about how Wei Liao lost to him after drinking and ran around naked in his underwear. Lord Su, take it easy, Wei Liao reminded him. Bridesmaid, can you tell us what kind of video it was? Seeing that Su Yu wasn't willing to tell, the host glanced at Huamin. Well, it can only be understood, not explained. Huamin also played word games. If you won't tell us, then fine. In the next segment, let's invite the bridesmaids and groomsmen to perform together to express our gratitude to them. We thank them for making Mr. and Mrs. Wei a happy marriage. Then, the audience applauded again. Huamin was a little confused. This wasn't part of the process. Was this host playing a live show at the last minute? There were so many people in the audience, how could he refuse? Even if he didn't want to give face to others, he had to give face to Jiang Xiaowei? Su Yu knew that Huamin was singing off-key, so he didn't give her a hard time. He only said, you can decide what we perform, I'll listen to you. Huamin was put in a difficult position. Sing, off-key. Dance, intimate. In the end, Huamin blurted out, Su Yu, why don't we play a duet? He had seen Su Yu play the piano before, so he boldly suggested this. I'm okay with anything, I'll listen to you. Su Yu nodded. What song would you like to play? The host asked with a smile. Chapter 1077. To be honest, Su Yu was quite surprised that Huamin suggested a four-hand duet. However, he was also ecstatic. The memory of seeing Huamin play Don Juan at the Christmas party last time shocked Su Yu to the core. He didn't even dare to imagine that he could play a four-hand duet with Huamin one day. What kind of happiness would that be? What song do you want to play? Richard Clayderman's Wedding in a Dream is very nice. Do you guys want to play it? The host suggested. Huamin shook his head. That song isn't suitable for a wedding. It has a sad story behind it, so we can't play it. The host smiled awkwardly. Su Yu, what do you know? Huamin looked at him and asked. I'm good with anything, you decide. Su Yu was so excited that he didn't know what to think. Wang Liham's I Still Love You? Huamin asked tentatively. No problem. Su Yu could basically play anything as long as he had the music score. Wei Liao was also excited when he heard that Huamin wanted to play this song. I like this song too. Why don't you two play it, and we'll sing? Is that okay? Hey, that's a good idea. The four of us can work together. Jiang Xiaowei also agreed. In the end, Huamin and Qin Chu quickly walked over to the piano and sat down on either side of it. Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao both picked up their microphones. Next, let's welcome the groomsmen and bridesmaids to play I Still Love You. The bride and groom will sing live. Everyone, please give them a round of applause. After the host finished speaking, the audience once again erupted in applause. Min glanced at Suyu and gave him a hint with his eyes. Then, smooth music began to play. Wei Liao and Jiang Shaowei also sang. Twinkle, twinkle, leave behind the traces of time, the center of my world is still you, the years fly by in the blink of an eye. The only thing that never changes is constantly changing. I'm not who I used to be, and you're not who you are. But in my eyes your smile is still beautiful. Days can only go forward in one direction, clockwise. I don't know how long love will last, so I have to let you know me still loving you is the only way out. I still cherish every moment of happiness, every breath you take, every movement you make, every expression you make. Will still love you till the end. Suyu played while looking at Min beside him. His gaze was extremely affectionate and gentle. She was so close to him. He played the piano seriously, and his fingers danced quickly on the keys. Just her side profile was enough to make Suyu unable to extricate himself. He was mesmerized by her. Min was not the most beautiful girl, but she was the most irresistible. He had never had such a strong feeling before her. He didn't even want to continue playing. He just wanted to pounce over. He wanted to hug Min tightly. Suyu and Min were so good at playing that they were in sync with each other. It was like the sound of nature. Jiang Shaowei and Wei Liao were also microphone hogs. Although their singing wasn't as good as professional singers, it wasn't bad either. Everyone was mesmerized by their performance. Min kept her head down and played the piano seriously. She didn't look at Suyu, and she didn't dare to look at Suyu, because she could already feel the burning gaze next to her. At this moment, Song Yishur recorded a video on her phone and sent it to Qin Chu's phone. She didn't have WeChat, so she sent it to his mailbox. ? Qin Chu only replied with a question mark. Qin Chu, did you know that Min is today's bridesmaid? Song Yishur. I know, Qin Chu replied coldly. She's playing a duet with Suyu right now, and everyone thinks that they're a couple. I think that Min is a bit too much, and it's not fair to you. Do you want to come over and watch? Song Yishur asked again. Chapter 1078. We don't need outsiders to interfere in our business. Qin Chu replied coldly, immediately shutting Song Yishur up. She didn't expect Qin Chu to say that. She thought that Qin Chu would be angry and teach Min a lesson. However, instead of complaining, she was slapped in the face. Song Yishur immediately withered. After the song ended, the audience gave them the warmest applause. Suyu and Min played well. Wei Liao and Jiang Shaowei also sang well. Everyone enjoyed a feast of visual and auditory sensations. After Suyu left the stage, he still seemed to be in a daze. This might be the most unforgettable piano piece he had ever played in his life. Because of Min and his forehand duet? To him, this was the highest honor. Then, the host began to tease the two newlyweds. The bride and groom, please stand back to back. Min supported Jiang Shaowei and helped her hold up the long hem of her dress, then he hid to the side. The two newlyweds, please raise your wine glasses, the host instructed. Because Jiang Shaowei was pregnant, the wine in her glass wasn't wine. Wei Liao's glass was real red wine. Next, I'll ask you a question. If you think it's right, take a sip. Then, the host asked loudly, those who think they're good-looking, take a sip. Jiang Shaowei and Wei Liao both raised their glasses and took a sip. However, because their backs were facing each other, they didn't see each other's movements. Okay, those who are willing to do the housework after marriage, take a sip. Jiang Shaowei didn't move at all. Wei Liao hesitated for 3 seconds before taking a sip. Wei Ying burst into laughter. Look at my second brother's useless face. It's so funny. It seems like everything has its weakness. Second sister-in-law has to deal with him. Wei Ying laughed. Those who want to be the head of the family after marriage, take a sip. Jiang Shaowei immediately took a sip. Wei Liao raised his hand and wanted to drink it, but he didn't dare. He was really afraid that Shaowei would chop him up when she watched the wedding video. Ask him to kneel on a durian or something. In the end, Wei Liao did not dare to drink it. What the fuck? I really look down on Master Wei. He doesn't even have the guts to fight for it. Tang Chuan cursed under his breath. Take a sip when you wash your clothes and take care of your children after marriage. Jiang Shaowei remained motionless as if it had nothing to do with her. After hesitating for 2 seconds, Wei Liao picked it up and took another sip. Everyone burst into laughter. The Wei parents also knew that this was just a joke by the host, so they weren't angry. It added quite a bit of atmosphere to the scene. When you're in love, take a sip when you're on top and 2 when you're on the bottom. After the host said this, the entire audience burst into laughter. Even someone as calm as Huamin couldn't help but laugh. This is fucking awkward. I suspect that this host has a grudge against Master Wei for killing his father. He's really going to play him to death, huh? Tang Chuan laughed devilishly. At this moment, Wei Liao took a sip and Jiang Xiaowei took 2 sips. Originally, Huamin thought that since Slightly was so domineering, she would probably choose to be on top with the man on the bottom. However, to his surprise, she didn't. Later, Huamin and Jiang Xiaowei were chatting. She had asked her this question before. Slightly, why weren't you on top during the wedding? You don't seem like someone who's willing to be on the bottom. Because the person on the bottom doesn't need to work, and the person on top is too fucking tired? Jiang Xiaowei's godly reply made Huamin speechless for 10 seconds. As expected of a doctor, everything she said made sense. After messing with the newlyweds, the host turned on his romantic mode. Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao both said their vows. Then they exchanged rings. After Huamin was done, she tiredly took off her white veil and put on an elegant yellow dress before walking off the stage. She wasn't sure if it was because she was too tired or because she was too nervous. She lost her balance and fell down. Su Yu reacted quickly and immediately rushed up to support her. This was the first time Su Yu touched Huamin's hand other than when they shook hands. He was so nervous that his face turned red. Your face is so red, Huamin looked at him in confusion. After she said this, Su Yu's face turned even redder. Chapter 1079. I'm actually feeling so hot. Don't you think it's hot in the house? Su Yu asked with a red face. I don't think so. The air conditioner is very good. Huamin didn't give Lord Su any face and kept undermining him. Su Yu supported Huamin for a moment and immediately let go. However, this scene was still captured by Song Yishe. She knew that Su Yu was interested in Huamin, so she kept trying to catch him. She actually bumped into him. She excitedly sent another short video to Qin Chu. Qin Chu was currently in a meeting with the higher-ups in the conference room. Everyone was discussing the plan for the New Year's Day staff meeting. President Qin, I think it's a good idea for us to travel. We can go to the Yunding Mountain Resort under our own company. During this season, we can go to the hot springs and relax. A department manager suggested. Qin Chu listened quietly and felt that it made sense. Before she could say anything, she saw Song Yishe send her another photo. It was still in the form of a text message. In the photo, Su Yu was holding Huamin's hand. They looked very intimate. If it was someone else who sent it, he might be a little jealous. But if it was Song Yishe, it was a different story. Because of Song Yishe, Qin Chu felt that she had ulterior motives. In the past, because she was Mayor Song's daughter, he would give her some face. Later, he found out that she was shameless. After moving out of Imperial Park, she was still haunting him. When he saw the message just now, he didn't want to talk to her. However, when he saw the video of Huamin playing the piano, he was quite surprised. So, he replied to Song Yishe with a question mark. He didn't know why she sent this. In the end, Song Yishe acted like a villain. She actually complained about Huamin and Su Yu. He was so angry that he directly poured cold water on her. He didn't expect her to be so forgetful and send him a message. Qin Chu looked at the photo and his expression didn't change. He only did one action and blocked Song Yishe. In other words, Song Yishe couldn't text or call Qin Chu anymore. President Qin, what do you think? The department manager asked again. Okay, we'll do as you say, Yunding Mountain. Then, Qin Chu stood up and left the conference room. After Huamin changed, he didn't sit down with Su Yu's table. Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling and some other guests. Su Yu, Tang Chuan, Xin Mingxi, and Wei Ying sat together with the super-rich heirs. Lord Su, the four-hand duet just now, not bad. The song's name is good too. Still love you? Tang Chuan teased. Shut up and eat, why are you talking so much? Lord Su lowered his head and ate quietly. Thinking about the forehand duet just now and how he accidentally touched Huamin's hand, he felt extremely happy. The truth was he had to thank Zhu Lingling for this opportunity. He also had to thank Zhu Lingling's Aunt Flo. Otherwise, Huamin wouldn't have come on stage. Girl, you're awesome. Your performance was awesome. Love you. Zhu Lingling was very proud of Huamin. Awesome? I don't know if my Mr. Qin will flip out. I'm scared. Huamin laughed. No, your Mr. Qin isn't that petty, Gao Ran comforted him. Sorry, I'm that petty. As soon as the voice rang out, Huamin, Gao Ran, and Zhu Lingling were all dumbfounded. They turned around and saw that it really was Qin Chu. He was right behind them without making a sound. Honey, why are you here? Huamin was also surprised. If I didn't come, my wife would have been taken away. Huamin immediately felt guilty. Are you done eating? Qin Chu asked. Yeah. Huamin nodded obediently. Did you give her the present? Qin Chu asked again. Yeah, I gave it to her as soon as I got here. Huamin didn't give Jiang Shaowei a monetary gift. Instead, he gave her a set of jewelry from GK that was worth over 1 million yuan. This was Qin Chu's idea, and it really made Huamin proud. Since you're done, come home with me, I have something to talk to you about. Then, Qin Chu turned around and left with a serious expression. Oh no, I'm dead for sure. Heroes, please save me. Huamin looked at Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling for help. She had a feeling that Mr. Qin was about to flip out. Author's note. My babies, the 8th update is only 1 chapter shorter than usual. Piggy really tried his best. Those who said that I'm super slow probably aren't old fans and don't know how to update. Hee, thank you for your concern. My fever is gone, but I'm still not in good condition. I still feel dizzy and have a runny nose. Chapter 1080. Huamin looked at Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling pitifully. However, the two of them didn't do anything. What happened to being loyal to their friends? Girl, I don't think anything can happen to you. If we speak up for you, things might get out of hand. Zhu Lingling laughed. Bullshit. You're shirking your responsibility. Huamin wanted to cry but had no tears. Huamin, I think Lingling has a point. Don't be scared, you're Qin Chu's only weakness. You're the only one in the world who can control him, so you'll be fine. Don't worry and go. Gao Ran waved his hand as if he wanted to say goodbye to Huamin. Gao Ran, you're kicking me to the curb after I've outlived my usefulness. I was a temporary bridesmaid to help you guys. You can't just leave me like that. Huamin felt even more guilty. Hero, go, you'll be fine. If something happens to you, I'll burn incense for you on this day next year. Zhu Lingling laughed uncontrollably. This was the first time she saw Huamin so scared of Qin Chu. She was clearly gloating over his misfortune. Fuck, you're an animal, and you? Huamin pointed at Gao Ran and said angrily. Neither of you are good people. Forget it, if you don't help me, I'll go by myself. Worst comes to worst, I'll take your head and your life. After speaking, Huamin walked away without looking back. Hey, stinky cop, do you think Qin Chu will really teach me on a lesson? Zhu Lingling was worried. But they're just a couple who quarrel at the head of the bed and reconcile at the end of it. Nothing will happen, let's not worry about it. Gao Ran knew Qin Chu well. He was sure that Huamin would get away with it as soon as he acted cute and coquettish. This was not something they needed to concern themselves with. He and Qin Chu greeted Jiang Shaowei and her husband at the door. The two of them went home together. Along the way, Qin Chu was silent, which made Huamin even more nervous. Strange. Nothing happened to me, so why do I have a guilty conscience? It's so strange. Huamin muttered to himself. Qin Chu turned his head to the side and asked, Did you feel good playing a forehand duet? It's alright, it's not that great. Huamin immediately lowered her head. Damn it, who was the one who sold her out? How did it reach Qin Chu's ears so quickly? Then, do you want something better? Qin Chu continued to ask. Huamin waved his hands repeatedly. No. Just then, the car stopped. Qin Chu held onto Huamin's hand as they walked into South Hill Manor. There was a snow-white piano in the living room. The black and white keys were distinctly colored, making it easy to like. Chu held onto her hand and sat down. Honey, what are you doing? Min smiled awkwardly. I heard you're really good at the piano. Can you play Still Love You for me? Honey, don't be like that. Min felt even more guilty. Could it be that he was watching the broadcast? How did he know the song that Yu and I played? This is too strange. Or, did someone really tell him about it? At this thought, Min suddenly asked, Honey, who told you about my forehand duet? Chu looked at Min with a serious expression. Dr. Hua, no, I should call you Director Hua now. Can you not change the subject? I'm talking about your piano performance, so don't try to confuse me, okay? Honey, I was wrong. Min saw that Chu wasn't going to let her off the hook, so she decided to admit her mistake. What did you do wrong? Chu crossed his fingers and sat in front of Min. He looked into her eyes and asked, What did you do wrong? I shouldn't have played a forehand duet with Yu. Min didn't know whether to laugh or cry as she apologized to Chu. Then what else? Chu continued to ask calmly. Chapter 1081. Also, I shouldn't have been the bridesmaid. I shouldn't have helped Zhu Lingling, that disloyal person. Min tried to bluff his way out of this. Director Hua, are you all grown up now? Is that why you don't talk to me before you do anything? Mr. Qin asked aggressively. No, absolutely not. Min denied. Then do you think your husband is too weak? Is that why you don't take me seriously? Why are you flirting with other men in public? Do you think I'm dead? Chu purposely asked in a muffled voice. I'm innocent. Mr. Qin, the MC came up with our performance on the spur of the moment. We didn't even have a script. Why would I flirt with you on purpose? You don't have to believe me, but you can't insult my character, okay? After speaking, Min angrily turned his head to the side. How about this, play a duet with me and we'll call it quits, Chu said calmly. What? Is there a problem? Chu purposely asked when he saw Min's troubled expression. No, there's no problem. What do you want to play? Tell me. In the end, Min decided not to argue with Mr. Qin and obediently surrendered. Therefore, he obediently sat in front of the piano and waited for orders. After 5 seconds of silence, Mr. Qin said, I want you to play Boonie Bears with me. What? Min thought he didn't hear him clearly, so he asked again. Boonie Bears, Mr. Qin repeated, word for word. Min, after a while, she looked at Chu and said angrily, Chu, are you messing with me? I'm not. I want you to play this with me, okay? Mr. Qin was really stubborn. Okay, I'll do it. But we don't have a score at home, and I can't memorize it, Min purposely said. Uncle Lee, bring me the score. Okay, sir. When Min heard this, he went crazy. Wait, Mr. Qin, why do we have a children's song score at home? Did you dig a hole for me? Min was a little scared. I bought it a long time ago. It's for the baby. Chu's face was calm. Min didn't say anything. She and Chu were both sits. Do we really have to do this? Mian thought it was weird for her to play with Mr. Qin at home. S's. You don't have to play, but... Mr. Qin didn't finish his sentence. Teet-s, this, st2, teet. Mian decided to let it go. It was just a Boonie Bears. Why don't I play with you? Chu looked at his wife's conflicted expression and almost laughed out loud. To be honest, it was hard to pretend to be angry with Min. Whenever he looked at her, his eyes would subconsciously soften. Let's compete. If you're faster than me, then I won't pursue the matter any further. Chu said in all seriousness. No problem. Min didn't think he would lose to Chu in terms of speed. He was full of confidence. Then he heard Chu say, I have to play 5 seconds faster than you. But Min was indignant. Because you're the one who's in the wrong and needs to be forgiven, Chu said matter-of-factly. After hesitating for a few seconds, Min gritted his teeth and nodded. If you lose, you'll be the one to play for the next month. Mr. Qin added another condition. Huamin almost had a mental breakdown when he heard this. Mr. Qin was trying to play her to death. Chapter 1082. So, Mr. Hubby, can we still play happily in the future? Huamin wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Qin Chu smirked proudly. Beat me first, then we'll talk about other things. After the 5-second countdown, Qin Chu's slender fingers danced across the piano keys. She had never seen him play the piano before. She only knew that his hands had been studying medicine for 7 years, and that he had signed contracts worth hundreds of millions. She never imagined that one day he would be able to sit in front of the black and white piano keys like an artist, fluently playing beautiful notes. Even though the song Bonnie Bears was a bit, she had to admit that Mr. Qin looked very handsome when he played the piano. Huamin was stunned. A young lady, it's already been 6 seconds. Uncle Li reminded her out of kindness. Huamin finally remembered that she was competing with Qin Chu. She immediately came back to her senses and chased after him. Huamin looked at the music sheet and played the notes at lightning speed. She didn't care about the music, nor did she have time to appreciate it. She only wanted to beat Qin Chu. However, Qin Chu was insanely fast. If she were to compete with Su Yu or Song Yisher, she would be able to catch up in a matter of minutes. However, Mr. Qin's fingers were insanely fast and accurate. She would lose if she didn't watch. Huamin was so anxious that she started sweating. She almost jumped up from the piano and started playing. Hubby, take it easy, don't go too far, okay? Huamin harassed Mr. Qin as she played the piano. Qin Chu chuckled and ignored Huamin's words. He continued to speed up. In the end, Huamin decided to use her ultimate move and yelled, "Hubby, good hubby, good hubby, you're the best hubby in the world." As expected, Mr. Qin took her seriously. Even though he knew that Huamin was flattering him to win, he didn't care. He still enjoyed it. After being praised by Huamin, Qin Chu slowed down. He tilted his head and looked at Huamin. His gaze was as gentle as water. Huamin was secretly pleased. As expected, honey traps and flattery worked well on Mr. Qin. While Qin Chu slowed down, she quickly chased after him. In the end, she beat Qin Chu by 2 notes. One after the other, the two of them ended the match perfectly. A young lady wins. Uncle Li, who was good with music, said seriously. Oh yeah. Huamian got up and made a peace sign with her hands. Qin Chu was as dumb as she could be. If Zhu Lingling and Jiang Shaowei saw her like this, she would definitely scold her for being like a husky. Huamian Qin, Min Qin Hua Qin, so, it seems like you like me more than you do. From now on, you can leave the physical work to me. After speaking, Qin Chu carried Huamin up to the 2nd floor. Put me down, it's dated. Huamin felt that it was embarrassing for them to be so lovey-dovey in the middle of the night. But what did it have to do with lovey-dovey? In order to refute her, Mr. Qin whispered the softest and most touching words. I like to do it during the day because I can see your face clearly. This was such a touching sentence. However, Dr. Hua said, that makes sense. That way, you won't mistake me for area next door. Qin Chu, Huamin was definitely on the list of masters at ruining the atmosphere. She was always able to easily spoil the beautiful meaning with one sentence. Luckily, Mr. Qin didn't argue with her. She went upstairs and threw Huamian into the bathtub. Then, Mr. Qin fiercely jumped in as well. Huamin lied in the bathtub and refused to come out. In the end, Qin Chu had to put a towel on her and come out. Huamian wrapped her arms around Qin Chu's neck, her heart filled with happiness. Huamian, I know that you're not angry today, right? You're just teasing me. What else do you know? Qin Chu smiled. I also know that Mr. Qin is like a child when he's jealous. I can't believe he listened to such a childish song. What else? Qin Chu continued to ask. Also, you lost to me on purpose when you were playing the zither. You weren't distracted at all. You just wanted me to win, so you let me win on purpose. Go on. Qin Chu was in a good mood. And us. Before Huamin could finish, Qin Chu's phone suddenly rang. Chapter 1083. Can you answer it for me? Honey, I'm going to blow dry my hair. Qin Chu gently placed Huamin in his arms on the big bed. Then, he turned around and went into the bathroom. Huamin didn't want to answer the phone for Qin Chu because he felt that it would violate his privacy. It was as if he didn't trust him. However, if Qin Chu agreed, it was fine. Huamian rolled over to the bedside table and picked up her phone. The caller ID showed that it was his mother. Huamin hesitated when he thought of Lady Qin, but he still picked it up. "Hello. Huamin?" Lady Qin immediately asked when she heard a woman's voice. "That's me. Where's Chu?" Lady Qin's attitude was much better than before. "He just came out of the shower and is blowing his hair dry. Do you want to talk to him? I'll get him for you." Huamin was about to get out of bed when he spoke. "Oh, it's okay. It's the same if I tell you. Xianxia just called me. You know who Xianxia is, right? Mayor Song's daughter." "I know," Huamin replied calmly. She said that there was an accident on Heshi Road, but she didn't know what to do. She called Qin Chu but couldn't get through. He's always on the phone, so she asked me to ask him. "Oh, I see. I'll tell him in a bit." "Okay, tell Chu to go take a look. After all, the two families are close. It's not right to ignore them." "Got it." Huamin nodded. Then, Lady Qin hung up the phone. 3 minutes later, Qin Chu walked out of the bathroom in a bathrobe. His short hair was already blown dry. It was clean and fresh. Many people hated cleanliness, so they hated doctors and medical students. However, Huamin didn't think that cleanliness was a bad habit. He liked to clean his house. Wasn't it good that he had good personal hygiene? Who would like to live in a pigsty? The size of the house didn't matter, but at least it had to be clean and tidy. Qin Chu was especially clean, and Huamin appreciated this very much. After Qin Chu got on the bed, he put one hand on Huamin's shoulder. "Honey, who's calling?" "Your mother." "What is it?" "She said that Song Yisher's car broke down on Heshi Road. She couldn't reach you on the phone, so she called your mother." "Oh, I blacklisted her," Qin Chu said casually. However, Huamin was quite shocked. "What? You blacklisted her?" Huamin was stunned. "Yes, it's too annoying." Qin Chu was still a man of few words. As for Song Yisher's character, he was too lazy to write a long comment. He could only use 3 words to describe her: too annoying. Although she was surprised by Mr. Qin's actions, she was still a little surprised. However, it had to be said that Huamin was secretly pleased. Mr. Qin was really capricious. The mayor's daughter had blacklisted him without hesitation. She didn't even need to consider who she was giving face to. Mr. Qin's phone was a certain number, so once he blacklisted someone, the only message he would get was, "Sorry, the number you have dialed is busy right now, please try again later." If he called again, he would be on the phone forever. Therefore, Song Yisher naively thought that Qin Chu couldn't reach her because he had too many phones, so she asked Lady Qin for help. Huamin thought that she might have overestimated herself. He didn't expect that her princess would be blacklisted by Qin Chu. "Then, what do we do now?" Huamin asked again. "What do you mean?" Qin Chu looked at him in confusion. Song Yisher's car broke down. Huamin reminded him. "What does it have to do with me?" Mr. Qin said arrogantly. "But from what your mom said, it seems like we have to go take a look. After all, she's Mayor Song's daughter." "Do I have to spoil the mayor's daughter? Do I look like someone with such a good temper?" Mr. Qin rolled his eyes at her. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. She had to admit that Mr. Qin was really cool sometimes. Huamian's sense of superiority increased by 100-fold. She felt as if she was the only one in the world that she loved. "Honey, I have an idea." Huamin rolled his eyes and came up with a new idea. "What is it?" Chapter 1084. We can ask someone from the company to take care of it. That way, people won't talk about it and we won't let her get away with her scheme. Is that necessary? Qin Chu felt that it was impossible to ask someone from the company to take care of it. Was it that important? We still have to save face. We still have to take care of Mayor Song's face slightly. Although Huamin hated Song Yisher to death, she was more considerate of Qin Chu. After all, Mayor Song took good care of the company, so she didn't want to make things too ugly. Plus, Qin Chu's mother just called. If she didn't do anything, what would old Mrs. Song think of her? Old Mrs. Song would definitely think that she was gossiping with Qin Chu again. If that happened, the little bit of relationship they had just built up would collapse. This was one of the things that Huamin was smart about. She would never act rashly without considering the consequences. Every time she did something, she would think of the consequences, including the time when she operated on Qin Chu. She thought of the consequences of her own death. That was why Zhu Lingling said that she was the most rational woman. Jiang Xiaowei said that she was the smartest woman. You don't have to ask me about this. You can make the decision. After Qin Chu finished speaking, he kissed Huamin's forehead gently. Then, he picked up his tablet seriously and looked at the preparation plan for the staff meeting sent by the company. Huamin picked up her phone and made a call. Hello, Yang? I'm Huamin. 20 minutes later, Yang drove his white Volkswagen to Heshi Road. As expected, Song Yisha was still there. She seemed to think that with one call from Lady Qin Chu would definitely come to save the damsel in distress. But when she saw Yang, her mood immediately soured. Why are you here? Song Yisha asked bluntly with a dark expression. Miss Song, I received instructions from the CEO's wife saying that there was a problem with your car here. Is that true? To be honest, Yang didn't like to come either, but he couldn't refuse a young lady's orders. The main reason why he didn't like to come was because he wasn't a car mechanic. He really didn't know why Miss Song was so strange. Her car broke down, but instead of finding a professional mechanic, she called the president. Mrs. President? Are you saying that Huamin sent you here? Song Yisha's tone was very unfriendly. She didn't need to pretend to be a lady in front of a nobody like Xiao Yang. Yes. What a joke. Who does she think she is? Why did she have to make all the decisions? I want to talk to him. Song Yisha was very angry. She thought that Qin Chu didn't know Huamin's actions and wanted to complain. Miss Song, don't you have his number? Yang replied dumbfoundedly. I can't get through. His line has been busy for an hour. Try calling his landline, Song Yisha commanded. That's impossible. Our president's line is never busy at night. Plus, our president doesn't talk much. Basically, he won't talk for an hour unless he's talking to a young lady. But at this time, they're definitely together, so I want to say, is your phone broken? Yang never thought that he would be so smart and be able to make such good deductions. Song Yisha understood what he meant and her face immediately darkened. She picked up her phone and called Qin Chu's number. Sorry, the number you have dialed is currently busy. She slightly furrowed her brows and looked at Yang. Call him. Quick, call him now. Yang took out his phone and called Huamian. However, he quickly hung up after one ring. Miss Song, I can get through. Yang said weakly. So what's going on? Song Yisha had never encountered something like this before, so she didn't quite understand. Our president, he seems to have blacklisted you. Blacklisted? Song Yisha's expression changed drastically. Chapter 1085. Yeah, that's the only explanation. So, Miss Song, did you offend my boss? Yang actually quite liked Miss Song in the beginning. She was pretty and polite. But later on, he realized that she was a little too. No wonder a young lady was jealous. Besides, compared to Miss Song, a young lady was more approachable. She didn't put on airs and even occasionally joked around. Miss Song was different. Although she looked nice on the surface, she was more or less distant. Yang also firmly believed that there was no perfect person in this world, no matter if it was a man or a woman. If she or he appeared too perfect, then it meant that they were hiding some unknown flaw. This type of person was often scarier because they lived in an unreal world. Impossible, it must be Huamin. Song Yisha always thought that she should leave a good impression on Qin Chu. He couldn't have been blacklisted without saying a word, right? Could it be that he was angry at her because of the video today? But if he wanted to be angry, he should be angry at Huamin. She was the one who didn't follow the rules of a married woman. She was already married, but she still flirted with Suyu. Why would he blacklist her? Song Yisha couldn't figure it out and was scared. Annoying people never knew how annoying they were. This saying was not an exaggeration when applied to Song Yisha. She didn't look for the reason from herself. Instead, she pushed all the blame to Huamin, who had nothing to do with it. "Miss Song, let me check your car for you." Yang felt that it wasn't a good idea to just stand there in the cold weather. Song Yisher was different. She waited for more than an hour at a roadside cafe. Even when she came out, she was wearing a white mink coat, which kept her warm. "No need, you can go back." Song Yisher coldly refused. Was there really something wrong with her car? The answer was yes. However, the reason why she asked Qin Chu to come was obvious. It was definitely not to repair the car. Moreover, Qin Chu was not a car mechanic. "Then there's no need for me, I'll leave now." Yang was overjoyed. "Let's go." "Wait." Song Yisher suddenly said. "What is it, Miss Song?" Yang paused. "Can I use your phone?" Song Yisher stretched out her hand as if it was only natural. Although Yang was reluctant, he didn't refute. She picked up Xiao Yang's phone and dialed Qin Chu's number. As expected, it was Huamin who answered the call. "Hello." "Huamin?" Song Yisher asked. Hee, thank you for sending someone to help me." "You're welcome. You've been so good to me. I'll definitely repay you in the future," Song Yisher said word by word. "There's no need for that. You should know that I've never liked you. That's why I don't want to have anything to do with you. If you didn't call my mother-in-law, do you think I would help you?" Huamin said directly. "Heh, you're so direct." Song Yisher secretly gritted her teeth. "I'm a direct person. I don't like scheming. But if you want to play, I'm not afraid of you. However, before you do anything, you should weigh the pros and cons," Huamin warned. "What a joke. I'm a high achiever who returned from overseas. Do I need a third-rate university graduate like you to teach me how to be a good person?" Song Yisher retorted. "Being a good person has nothing to do with education. A lot of PhD students from Kyoto University don't know how to be a good person." Huamin chuckled. "I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. Anyway, let's wait and see." Song Yisher hung up the phone. She was certain that Huamin had used Qin Chu's phone to blacklist her. Now, she looked at Huamin as if he had killed her father. "Here's your phone." Song Yisher threw the phone to Yang Yang. Yang Yang didn't catch it. The phone fell to the ground and the screen was smashed. "Miss Song, I was kind enough to lend you my phone. What are you doing?" Yang Yang was very angry when he saw that the woman did it on purpose. Song Yisher glanced at Yang Yang's phone and said with disdain, "Your phone model doesn't even cost 4,000 yuan. I'll give you 5,000. Go buy a new one." Song Yisher then took out a stack of money from her wallet. She threw the phone on the ground and walked into the coffee shop. Yang Yang stood there. He was so angry that he wanted to curse. What the fuck? He had to meet this crazy woman on such a cold day. After Song Yisher entered the coffee shop, she called Lady Qin again. Then, she cried and didn't say anything. Sure, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Say something." Lady Qin asked anxiously. "Mama Qin, can you come over? My car broke down so I can't go to your house. However, I have something important to say to you." Chapter 1086. "Okay, where are you right now? I'll ask the driver to take me there." Lady Qin's heart softened. After all, she had liked Song Yisher for a long time. Even though Qin Chu had his surgery and questioned her words, she still had some feelings for her. 30 minutes later, the Qin family's driver drove Lady Qin to a coffee shop on Heshi Road in a black Bentley. When she walked in, Song Yisher's eyes were red from crying. "What's wrong? Why are you crying like this, my child?" Lady Qin was quite surprised. Song Yisher had been hanging out with Lady Qin ever since she came back to China. Lady Qin had never seen her cry so hard, so she was quite shocked. "Mama Qin, Qin Chu blacklisted me. I suddenly couldn't get through to his phone," Song Yisher said with tears in her eyes. Then, she picked up a tissue and continued to wipe her tears. She tried to make it seem more real. "That's impossible. Why would Chu blacklist you for no reason?" Lady Qin obviously didn't believe her. "I don't believe it either. Nothing bad happened between Qin Chu and me. At first, I didn't know about it and naively thought that his phone was busy. How stupid am I? Later, I used someone else's phone to call him and found out that I was the only one who couldn't get through, sob. As Song Yisha spoke, she began to cry again. How could this be? Don't worry, there must be some kind of misunderstanding. I'll call Chu right now and ask him about it. Lady Qin picked up her phone and was about to call, but Song Yisha stopped her. Mrs. Qin, don't be so anxious. Let me finish first. Lady Qin nodded and put down her phone. After I used someone else's phone to call him, I found out that it was Huamin who picked up. That's when I figured out what was going on. Huamin always thought that Qin Chu and I had a special relationship. She used to give me a hard time, but I patiently explained everything to her. You know, I get along well with Huamin, and I've always treated her as my friend, but I feel like she's really angry this time. She might have blacklisted me behind Qin Chu's back, without Qin Chu knowing. Do you understand what I mean? Song Yisha looked up at Lady Qin and asked. I understand, you're saying that Chu doesn't know that Huamin did this, but why would she do that? Did you guys get into a fight? Lady Qin asked. Although she didn't like Huamin didn't seem like such an extreme person. She wouldn't blacklist Song Yisha, right? She even took Qin Chu's phone. Did she have to do that? That's what I wanted to tell you today. Mama Qin, listen carefully, I'm not trying to scare you, nor am I making up rumors. Huamin has an ambiguous relationship with the CEO of Imperial Star, Suyu. This morning, they even played a duet at the Wei family's wedding. Her actions are simply outrageous. She didn't care about the Qin family's reputation because she was afraid that I would tell Qin Chu, so she blacklisted me. Song Yisha was amazing. She directly linked the blacklisting and the duet together, and she made it sound as if it were real. That's impossible, right? Lady Qin didn't believe Song Yisha. How could something so ridiculous happen? Without saying anything, Song Yisha took out her phone and showed Lady Qin the video. Mama Qin, this is solid evidence. Take a look at it yourself. Photos can be faked, but videos can't be faked. This is the best evidence. Lady Qin picked it up and looked at it for a long time. Gradually, her expression turned ugly. Actually, I shouldn't have told you this in case you worry too much. However, this matter is detrimental to Qin Chu and the Qin family's reputation. Mama Qin, you treat me like your own daughter, so I can't keep this from you. Huamin and Su, I'm guessing that you already knew when Qin Chu was hospitalized. Normal people wouldn't be so busy. Luckily, Qin Chu woke up. Otherwise, Huamin would probably be hanging out with Suyu right now. I really feel bad for Qin Chu. Song Yisha's brainwashing of Lady Qin was amazing. Every word was deadly. Lady Qin was so angry that her face turned ashen, and her fingers trembled slightly. Chapter 1087. Mama Qin, your heart isn't very good, and your blood pressure is high. Don't get too agitated. Song Yisha immediately put down the tissue in her hand and came over to comfort Lady Qin. Sure, is what you said true? I've been good to you, and this is a big family matter. You can't lie to me. Lady Qin looked at Song Yisha seriously and questioned her with an ugly expression. Mama Qin, the video can't be faked. It recorded what really happened. Also, a lot of people were at the Wei family's wedding. I wasn't the only one who saw it. The media also recorded it. You can verify it yourself, Song Yisha explained gently. Lady Qin was immediately annoyed. Okay, I understand. Sure, your car broke down. I'll ask my driver to take you home first. No need, Mama Qin. My dad sent someone to pick me up. I mainly wanted to wait for you here and tell you these things. I don't want you to be like an idiot and be kept in the dark by some scheming woman. I understand. I'll take care of it. Thank you for telling me. Mrs. Qin replied with an unpleasant expression on her face. Song Yisha saw the opportunity and placed her hand on Lady Qin's shoulder. Mama Qin, you have to take care of yourself. Don't get angry at people who don't deserve it. If you need any help, remember to call me. Your business is my business. I know. Lady Qin nodded. Then, Lady Qin left the cafe in exhaustion. Song Yisha got into her black Bentley and left. Then, she picked up her phone. You guys wait for me at the club. I'll treat you guys to drinks tonight. Song Yisha seemed to be in a good mood. Meanwhile, Wei Liao's mansion was brightly lit. After the wedding, it was time for the most annoying part of the night. The wedding night, many of the rich second-generation young masters knew that Dr. Jiang was too fierce, so they did not dare to go too far. In the end, they pushed Su Yu and Tang Chuan out. Tang Chuan got an apple from somewhere and tied it with a string. Let the bride and groom take a bite? Later, apples were replaced with kumquats, and then red dates. Jiang Xiaowei was so angry that she scolded, "Why don't you just change it to some melon seeds and sesame seeds?" Good idea. Tang Chuan grinned. Good my ass. You're toying with me now? Am I not planning to get married? When the time comes, don't blame me for paying you back double, Wei Liao cursed angrily. It's okay. When I get married, you won't be able to disturb my wedding night. You're already married. You're an uncle, not a young man. Tang Chuan was proud of himself. Then I can let Lord Su take revenge for me. Wei Liao looked at Su Yu. Our Lord Su might get married before me. When the time comes, he'll also be an uncle. Perfect. Tang Chuan teased. The atmosphere was very good for the whole night, but Su Yu was not in a good mood. Compared to the past, he was a little out of it. What's wrong? Lord Su? Tang Chuan asked while others were messing with the bride and groom. Nothing. Su Yu replied absent-mindedly. Don't tell me you're still immersed in that cool forehand duet from today? You're thinking about Huamin? Go away. Su Yu was unwilling to admit his thoughts. That's not easy. I'll help you choose a girl who looks similar to Huamin. Then go to Korea for plastic surgery. I guarantee that she'll be 10 times prettier than Huamin. When the time comes, you can just jump on her and have fun. Young Master Su let out a long sigh and uttered the most poetic sentence he had ever uttered in his life. He said, "If you've seen the sea, you can't call it water. If you're not on Mount Wu, you can't call it a cloud." Damn, what do you mean? What cloud and what water? A woman with more water is indeed comfortable. Tang Chuan continued to make dirty jokes. Su Yu glanced at him in disdain. Go away, go away. Don't say that you know me when you go out. Su Yu felt that he was a pervert. Tang Chuan was even ruder than him. Wei Liao came over and secretly asked Su Yu mysteriously, I heard that you went on 4 blind dates in the last 5 days. How was it? Did you get any results? Chapter 1088. Oh, you're well informed. It seems like marriage didn't make you confused. You still know how to care about me? Su Yu looked at Wei Liao, amused. Of course. With our friendship, how can I not care about your marriage? Am I still human then? Tell me, how is it? Is there a reliable one? What do you think? Su Yu rolled his eyes. Lord Su, it's not that I want to nag at you, but you still have to find someone. We can't be single forever. Also remember, don't look at Huamin's standards. Wei Liao gave advice. But Su Yu looked at him, not quite understanding. Because if you look at Huamin's standards, you probably won't find anyone in your lifetime. You know how weird Huamin is? Her looks can't be changed, but her personality can't be imitated. Her IQ can't be improved. You're quite insightful. Su Yu looked at Wei Liao and chuckled. I'm doing this for your own good. What I mean is, if we really can't find a wife, let's find a beautiful, sensible, gentle, virtuous, generous, cheerful, beautiful, filial, and aristocratic. Look, how good is that? You'll be able to keep up appearances. Wei Liao advised. Ever since Wei Liao got together with Jiang Xiaowei, he had more contact with Huamin than before. But the more contact he had, the more he understood one thing. Huamin was also stubborn. She cared a lot about Qin Chu, and she could even risk her life for him. Her relationship with Qin Chu was unbreakable. It wasn't something that Lord Su could get just because he wanted it. Rather than yearning bitterly, it was better to let go. But the problem was that Su Yu couldn't let go. He was shocked by Huamin's persistence. It was as if he was possessed. What you said makes sense. Su Yu nodded. Wei Liao was pleasantly surprised that Lord Su's attitude had changed. Su Yu continued, but I'm not interested in what you said. Wei Liao was speechless. After talking for so long, he tried his best to persuade her. It turned out that it was all in vain. Lord Su was simply impervious to everything. Groom, come and save us. Your wife is going crazy. The group of second-generation rich kids laughed and teased. They saw Jiang Xiaowei holding an inflatable hammer and fiercely hammering at the group of guys. Among them, Tang Chuan was the most seriously injured. Aya, sister-in-law, don't hit him. You're not playing whack-a-mole. Why is there no end to it? Tang Chuan fled in all directions while Jiang Xiaowei chased after him relentlessly. Making a scene in the bridal room was really lively. It was a pity that Huamin wasn't here. Otherwise, it would have been even more fun. Basically, the things that she came up with in her head were the kind that would kill people. After Wei Liao went over, Su took out a can of Coke from the fridge alone and slowly drank it. He took out his phone and inadvertently scrolled through the screen. He found that Huamin's Weibo had updated in 5 seconds. It was a photo of the wedding scene. All 9 were beautiful photos of Jiang Xiaowei. The last one was a selfie of her and Jiang Xiaowei in the lounge. Although Huamin didn't wear such exquisite makeup, her aura didn't lose to Xiaowei's. Actually, there were such people in this world. They weren't devastatingly beautiful, but they could make you give everything you had, and to Su Yu, Huamin was such a person. In the photo, Huamin and Jiang Xiaowei were both smiling. The two of them were face to face, and it was obvious that they were very close. Huamin was different from Song Yishe. She wouldn't say so much in front of her fans. She only added a few words in the photo. She said, "Time doesn't grow old, we won't part." These words were enough to express her friendship with Jiang Xiaowei. Su Yu really wanted to like the photo, but he was afraid that others would misunderstand, so he resisted the impulse. Instead, he stared at the smiling Huamin in the photo for a long time. His gaze was like that of a young man who had just fallen in love. It was so sincere and so pure. At South Hill Manor. After posting on Weibo, Huamin was about to sleep in a daze. Suddenly, she received a WeChat message. Ding. She immediately woke up and picked up her phone. Chapter 1089. Hey girl, are you still alive? Huamian knew that it was from Zhu Lingling just by looking at the funny message. After Qin Chu took Huamin away at the wedding, she and Gao Ran discussed it for a long time. She didn't know how Mr. Qin would deal with Huamin. So, after thinking about it, she decided to ask. Her tone was a little funny. Lingling, I'm already at the bridge of forgetfulness. Can you come down and keep me company? Huamin was even more heartless than her and replied with this sentence. Hello, goodbye. Zhu Lingling was so scared that she immediately said goodbye. Then, Zhu Lingling sent another message. Let's stop joking around. Tell me the truth, did Mr. Qin do anything to you? You two heartless bastards, how dare you ask? If I wasn't your bridesmaid, would this have happened? Huamin replied angrily. Who doesn't know that Mr. Qin loves you? I can tell from your tone that you're fine. You even have the time to talk nonsense with me, so nothing happened. Mr. Qin was just bluffing, so I'm relieved. Do you want to talk to me again if you keep doing this? You two are so dishonest, I won't even believe punctuation when you talk to me again. Huamin teased her on purpose. Don't be like this, we still have to play. After all, we only have one smart little friend. Zhu Lingling chuckled. Okay, you're in love right now, so you only care about the police. You won't care about your smart little friend. I understand we both care about the opposite sex. Hey, you sound so sour. Don't forget how you and Mr. Qin used to torture single people. You guys are the classic example of a well-fed man not knowing the suffering of a starving man, Zhu Lingling said. So you were desperate and chose Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling. I'm going to tell Gao Ran that you're bad-mouthing him. Whatever. Whether it's money, looks, or IQ, your police officer is no match for him. Our Mr. Qin is definitely better. Stop being so cocky. You're using Mr. Qin's name to bully us commoners, aren't you? Zhu Lingling sent a disdainful emoji. Because she replied with a voice message, Qin Chu heard it clearly. He turned his head to look at Huamin and raised the corner of his mouth slightly. If you want to chat like this, I'll still like you very much, honey. Huamin chuckled. Sure enough, flattery would always work. It turned out that the cold and arrogant Mr. Qin also liked to hear compliments. Just then, Lingling sent him another WeChat message. It was a text that opened it. She wrote, "Girl, it's already winter in the north. Do you want to go shopping together after work tomorrow? I want to buy a white ferret." Ferret was not only warm but also beautiful. Many movie stars wore it, and Song Yisher loved it as well. Winter in Italy was cold, and she had more than 10 ferret coats in her wardrobe. There were long and short ones, popular ones, and popular ones. "No, I'm fine with a cotton-padded jacket. When it gets colder, I have a down jacket." Huamin directly refused. Cotton-padded jackets are so old-fashioned. Ferret coats are so beautiful. But ferret coats are built on the basis of cruel killing. Do you know how many ferrets are needed to make a beautiful ferret coat? Huamin asked seriously. Zhu Lingling, do you know that in order to make a ferret coat beautiful, the ferrets aren't killed directly? Instead, they are flayed alive? Zhu Lingling, do you know that when the adult ferrets are flung to death, the ferrets watch their mother fall to death from the cage? Chapter 1090. Zhu Lingling was speechless. Actually, minks are very pitiful animals, especially those that are farmed. They are born to wait for death, to be skinned and made into coats. I saw a picture before of a little mink wearing a mink coat and calling for its mother. At that moment, I swore that I would never wear a mink coat in my life, because the price of beauty is too bloody and cruel. There are many materials that can keep people warm. Why do they have to be so cruel? Huamin said word by word. Girl, I didn't know before, but after hearing what you said, I don't have any desire to buy it anymore. If there's no business, then there's no killing. The little mink is so pitiful, I will never wear a mink coat in the future. Zhu Lingling heard Huamin's words and felt very guilty. Lingling, you might think that I'm a Mary Sue, but I actually want to say that when I chose to be a doctor, it was because I wanted to always respect life. I really can't face the cruelty behind the price of beauty, but I won't persuade you, because you also have the right to choose. I know, if I knew that, I would have given up on this idea a long time ago. Zhu Lingling replied. After talking to Lingling, it was already past 11 o'clock at night. Huamin lay in Qin Chu's arms and fell asleep. The next morning, around 6 o'clock, she went downstairs to have breakfast. She saw Lady Qin walking in aggressively. Mom, why are you here so early? Qin Chu was also very surprised to see his mother. I'm definitely here for something. After Lady Qin finished speaking, she glanced at them. Have you eaten? Uncle Li, bring me another set of tableware. Qin Chu ordered. No need, I'm not eating. I have something important to say. Go ahead. Huamin saw that Lady Qin was staring at him in an unfriendly manner, so it must have something to do with him. Lady Qin took out her phone, opened a video, and slammed it on the table. Here, take a good look. Is this you? Lady Qin asked. Huamin took a look at his phone and nodded calmly. It's me. Qin Chu picked up the phone and looked at it. Then he asked, What's wrong? Mother? Is there a problem? You're actually asking me if there's a problem? Your wife is playing a duet with another man right now. Do you know that? I know. She's the bridesmaid, and the bride is her good friend. The MC asked them to perform that day. The four of them performed together. The bride and groom sang, and the best man and bridesmaid played the piano, Qin Chu explained. Is it really as simple as the best man and the bridesmaid? Huamin, do you know Suyu? I do. Huamin nodded. Then what's your relationship with him? Lady Qin asked with an unpleasant expression. Huamin put down the milk in her hand and said slowly, Actually, it's funny that you're asking such a question. What relationship could there be between us? If there really was something, I would be Mrs. Su right now, not Mrs. Qin. Before Lady Qin could speak, she continued, So please don't say that I'm with Qin Chu for money, because in terms of family power, the Su family should be more powerful. Also, I'm willing to sacrifice my life to live and die with Qin Chu. You should see everything clearly. So, I don't understand why you're asking such a boring question again. Perhaps you've been bewitched by someone with ulterior motives. Huamin's words were all important. She didn't want to continue arguing with Lady Qin. But you can't disregard the Qin family's reputation. Lady Qin was obviously not convinced. Mom, I know that she's the bridesmaid, and I know that she's playing the piano. Mian has discussed everything with me. She didn't disregard the Qin family's reputation. Think about it, if there really was something between them, why would she play the piano in public? Wouldn't it be safer for them to meet in private? After Qin Chu finished speaking, Lady Qin suddenly felt that her son's words made sense. So, did Song Yishe send you this video? Huamin glanced at Lady Qin's face and asked. How did you know? She was quite surprised that Huamin guessed correctly. Chapter 1091. Other than her, no one else would snitch on you. Huamin wiped his hands with a tissue and handed over Qin Chu's phone. Take a look, she sent the video to Qin Chu yesterday afternoon. Later, Qin Chu was in a meeting and didn't have time to talk to her, so he blocked her. So, I guess that she sent it to you. It's normal, this is how Song Yishe does things. Huamin smiled. Huamin wasn't surprised that Song Yishe snitched on him and tried to drive a wedge between him and Qin Chu. It would be strange if she suddenly calmed down one day and didn't do anything. This was because Huamin already knew that Song Yishe was the type of person who couldn't stand others doing well and liked to drive a wedge between them. However, she was smart and knew how to disguise herself, so many people were kept in the dark. Luckily, Mr. Song Yishe was smart and never let her suffer any grievances because of Song Yishe. In her own words, Mr. Qin didn't even believe the punctuation marks that came out of Song Yishe's mouth. Not to mention that he had blocked her. Chu, blocked Xianxia? Lady Qin seemed a little surprised. Yeah. Qin Chu nodded calmly. Why? Lady Qin felt that her son had gone a little overboard. After all, she was Mayor Song's daughter. There was an old saying, even if you don't respect the monk, respect the Buddha. However, Qin Chu didn't respect anyone and decisively blocked her. Because she's too fake. I don't like her, Qin Chu replied calmly. But, she said that she's always been close to you. She's also friends with Huamin. Lady Qin found it hard to accept. The contrast was too big. So, don't believe anything she says in the future. She's a woman who spends her life lying. Qin Chu gave her a piece of advice. What about the video? Lady Qin was still thinking about the video. There's nothing I can do if you don't trust me. But I'll contact you to go home and think about the cause and effect of the matter. Because lies can't stand up to scrutiny, framing people is also a skill, and it's inevitable that there will be loopholes. Huamin smiled. Lady Qin stood there stupidly. Huamin glanced at Qin Chu. Honey, I'm going to work. Do you want to come with me? Qin Chu nodded. Mom, we're going to work. You should go back. In the future, don't believe what others say. Think about it carefully. I'm very satisfied with my current life. I don't want any unhappiness to happen at home. I also believe that you're a smart person and won't be ordered around by others. After that, Qin Chu patted his mother on the shoulder. Then, she held Huamin's hand and walked out of the castle. Old madam, do you want breakfast? I'll get someone to prepare it. Uncle Li asked respectfully. I'm not eating. Old Li, come sit down. I have something to ask you, Lady Qin said with a serious expression. Go ahead, old madam. How is Mr. and Mrs. Qin's relationship? Very good, Uncle Li replied. Does she come back every night? Does Mrs. Qin come back regularly? Lady Qin asked again. Uncle Li nodded. Ever since Mr. Qin sold the house in Imperial Park, he's been coming back every night. Mrs. Qin's schedule is very regular. She comes back on time for work and off with Mr. Qin. Sometimes, they even invite friends over for dinner. They're very close, and I've never seen them fight or get angry. What you said is true, right? Lady Qin looked at Uncle Li in confusion. Old madam, if you don't believe me, you can watch the surveillance videos. Mrs. Qin comes back at the same time every day and goes out with Mr. Qin. I've lived for a long time, so I can tell. Fake love is different from real love. Then, about the party last time? Lady Qin suddenly remembered that Song Yishe had cried and complained that Huamin had bullied her. Since she was here today, Why didn't she ask about it? She chatted with Uncle Li for almost 2 hours. When they left South Hill Manor in the car, Lady Qin's expression was serious. She never thought that she would treat Song Yisher so well. Yet, she treated her like a fool. She almost never told the truth. Luckily, there was no big fight this time. Otherwise, she would misunderstand Huamin again. At this thought, Lady Qin picked up her phone and dialed Huamin's number. Huamin had just finished his morning meeting and was walking to his office. When he saw Lady Qin calling, he hesitated for a moment before picking up. Chapter 1092. Hello, Huamin said. Huamin, I'm Qin Chu's mother. The old lady sounded uncomfortable. Yes, how can I help you? I was too impulsive this morning. I just talked to Old Li. We've known each other for years, so I know what kind of person he is. You were right, I trusted Song Yisher too much. I'm glad you understand, Huamin said calmly. Although he didn't really like Qin Chu's mother, she was still Qin Chu's mother. However, since she was Qin Chu's biological mother, Huamian didn't want to give her a hard time. I hope you don't mind, Lady Qin said shyly. Don't worry, I don't mind. Also, I want to thank you for Qin Chu's surgery. You didn't leave him when he was in danger. I believe there's nothing going on between you and young Master Su. There's nothing going on between us. I'm glad you believe me, Huamin replied faintly. Come back for dinner this weekend, you too. Lady Qin invited Huamin for the first time. Okay, we'll come back when we're free. Huamin didn't want to embarrass the old lady and nodded. Then, Huamin walked into his office. Chief Hua, this is the receipt from the HR department. Your application for a nurse in your department wasn't approved. The assistant handed the receipt to Huamin. It wasn't approved? That's impossible. Huamin thought that his assistant's qualifications were more than enough for her to be promoted. Although Xianxia wasn't very beautiful, she was definitely skilled. There weren't many people at Southside who were more hardworking than her. Huamin lowered his head and looked at the reason for the rejection. It said that she hadn't been in the department for long. Huamin frowned slightly. Assistant Shen, who gave you this receipt? The head of the HR department gave it. The promotion was approved by the HR department. Human Resources Department? Didn't I write a recommendation letter to the dean? Huamin was slightly stunned. It's useless. The director is very busy every day. He won't care about these things personally. The director's assistant has already left the documents in the Human Resources Department. Huamin continued to ask, then, does the vice principal not care? The deputy director was originally in charge of it, but now that he is in another place for the medical conference, he handed it over to the Human Resources Department to handle. Oh, I see. Huamin nodded. Department Director Hua, is there a problem? I can help you report it to the vice dean, the assistant said. It's fine. I can handle it myself. Huamin nodded and smiled. Then, he took the receipt and sat on the chair in the office. There were fewer shady dealings in the Southern District than before, but that didn't mean there weren't any. Many doctors knew that interns did not rely on their abilities to become permanent nurses, but on the number of gifts and connections they received. If he was a relative of a department leader, it was basically a done deal. If he was an ordinary person without money and connections, he or she would never be promoted. Huamin was promoted because he performed an outstanding surgery and was directly promoted by President Wu. She originally thought that Xianxia would definitely be promoted. However, she was rejected. When she chatted with her colleagues in the department, she found out that there were a total of 5 nurses who were promoted this time. They were all from other departments, and their performance was average. What was even more ridiculous was that one of them had only been promoted for less than 3 months. Xianxia had been here for more than a year, but she was rejected because she had only been here for a short time. This was truly ironic. Chief, there are 2 patients who booked your appointment this afternoon. I've arranged for them to be at 2:30 and 3 o'clock p.m. Is that okay? Xianxia asked carefully. Sure. Little Jia, come in first. Huamin waved his hand and asked Xianxia to come in. Huamin handed her the receipt. She glanced at it and smiled. I knew I wouldn't be chosen. I didn't perform well. Little Jia, do you believe in yourself? Huamin suddenly asked. It took a lot of effort for Xianxia to make up her mind. Then, do you believe in me? Huamin asked again. Chapter 1093. Chief, I believe you, but I really don't want to be promoted. Like I said before, I don't want to trouble you. I know what kind of person I am, Xianxia said slowly. I only know that you're excellent. Wait for me. Huamin picked up the receipt and walked out of the office. Chief. Xianxia looked at Huamin worriedly from behind. She knew that Chief Hua was a legend and that she was honored to be her assistant. However, she really didn't want to be promoted. After all, she was born in the countryside and wasn't very talented. Therefore, she didn't dare to ask for things that didn't belong to her. However, she didn't think that Huamin would care so much about this matter. Huamian put on her white lab coat and went straight to the HR department with the receipt in her hand. She rarely interacted with the HR department because her promotions were all decided by President Wu and didn't go through the HR review. Huamin's story was very inspirational and became a legend at Southside. Many young nurses admired her. Is Chief Chow here? Huamin knocked on the door. Is it Master Hua? One of the HR employees looked at Huamin in surprise. Chief Chow is inside, another employee said. Huamin nodded and walked in. The door to the chief's office was open. Inside, a woman in her 40s was sleeping on the desk. Huamin looked at her watch. It was already time to go to work. She wondered why the HR department was in such a state. She knocked on the door rudely. It was very loud and seemed to wake up the sleeping woman. She reluctantly got up and looked at Huamin without saying a word. Is this Chief Chow? What is it? Her attitude was obviously not friendly. I'm Huamin from the neurology department. Why are you looking for me? The woman asked unhappily. I recommended my assistant to be promoted, but you didn't approve it. Huamin looked at her and said word by word. Isn't that normal? Every month, there are dozens of people who want to be promoted, but only a few can be promoted? I understand that, but your reason for rejecting her is that she hasn't been working for long. As far as I know, my assistant has been working at Southside for more than a year. That's not considered short. So what? The old woman from the Human Resources Department had an annoying look on her face. Nothing. I just want to ask you why you didn't approve it. Not qualified. The old woman yawned and replied impatiently. Huamin asked with a smile, then why did the one who had been in the OB/GYN department for less than 3 months pass? When the old woman heard Huamin's words, she seemed to be very unhappy. Because he performed well? Is that so? But I've seen the assessment records. He's no better than my assistant, then there must be other reasons. Anyway, our department's decision has nothing to do with you. Is it because of the gift? Huamin continued to ask. Chapter 1094. Director Chow didn't expect the usually easygoing Huamian to be so fierce and fierce. Every word she said hit the nail on the head. The truth was, President Wu wasn't in charge of nurses becoming permanent employees, but if someone really wanted to report it to the director for an investigation, then things would get complicated. After all, she did receive a lot of benefits. Chief Hua, have a seat. Let's talk slowly, there's no rush. It's okay, we're all busy. I'm just here to get to the bottom of this. If I can't get a satisfactory answer, then I'll ask President Wu. With that, Huamin turned to leave. Chief Chow was so scared that he immediately stood up. Wait, Chief Hua. Chief Chow, what's the matter? Huamin asked, even though she already knew the answer. Chief Hua, actually, the nurse in your department is pretty good. I was going to transfer her to the next batch because there aren't many spots left. But I just remembered that there's still one spot that hasn't been used yet, so I'll give it to her. Huamin purposely said awkwardly, I don't think that's a good idea. After all, she hasn't been in the department for long. It's not that short, I misremembered the time. I'm so busy that I'm dizzy. I hope you don't mind, Chief Hua. But she's not experienced enough, right? Huamin purposely asked. How is that not enough? How could Chief Li and Chief Hua have any bad employees? Chief Hua, that's it, I'll give the last spot to your assistant, Xianxia. Then, don't bother President Wu, okay? We're all busy, Chief Chow said implicitly. Huamin immediately understood. She nodded. If that's the case, thank you very much. No, you're welcome, Chief Hua. If you need anything in the future, just let me know. After thanking Huamin profusely and sending her off, Chief Chow finally let out a sigh of relief. Huamin was like a living ancestor. What a scary woman. The truth was, Huamin didn't need to deal with the HR chief at all. She could have just asked President Wu for help. But she wouldn't do that. Where it was possible to make mistakes, she would forgive them. She wouldn't force people into a dead end or push them too far. It was the same for anyone else. She was not Lei Feng, so she would not fight for justice and enforce justice on behalf of the heavens. What she needed to do was to not let her own people suffer. She didn't care if what Chief Chow said about the last spot was true or not, but she knew that Xianxia would definitely get it. He had to fight for what he had to fight for. He couldn't be arrogant, but he couldn't be too arrogant either. This was Huamin. Regardless of whether others liked her or not, she would always have her own way of doing things and her own set of survival rules. After receiving 2 patients in the afternoon, she was busy for a while and got off work. Before she could call Qin Chu, she saw him coming. Hubby, why are you at the hospital? I'm here to pick you up. Let's go to a banquet, Qin Chu said. Is it a social gathering? You can say that. It's a high-end private cocktail party, but you know the boss. Rick, Qin Chu said simply. The owner of Seductive Fox? Huamin was slightly taken aback. The Rick family has connections in both the government and the underworld. Today is Seductive Fox's year-end thank you banquet, so I'm sure a lot of celebrities will be there. Then I'll get ready right now. Huamin left the hospital and got into Qin Chu's car. She didn't like makeup, so she only changed into the coffee-colored dress that Qin Chu brought for her. It was a cute and dignified coffee-colored mini dress. As soon as the two arrived at the hotel, they were surrounded by reporters who were taking photos. In front of everyone, Qin Chu tightly hugged Huamin's waist. President Qin, there's news that Lady Qin is pregnant. Is this true? After hearing this question, Huamin felt a little awkward. Chapter 1095. Qin Chu replied faintly, If there's good news, I'll let everyone know. Thank you. Then he pushed through the crowd and walked in with Huamin with his arm around her. He didn't want those people to threaten her or make things difficult for her. You're here? Rick was wearing a long black tuxedo, looking extraordinarily handsome. However, because he was too cold, he wasn't warm to anyone. Huamin thought that he smiled even less than Qin Chu. What a joke. In this city, the only person that Rick had a good relationship with was Qin Chu. Therefore, when he saw Huamian and Qin Chu arrive, he immediately went over to greet them. We're not late, are we? Qin Chu asked with a smile. Of course not. Then, Rick and Qin Chu chatted on the side while Huamin sipped on a glass of juice out of boredom. He wondered if Xiaowei and the others would come to an event like this. Just as he finished speaking, he saw Su Yu and Tang Chuan walk in. Wei Liao also came, but Jiang Xiaowei was nowhere to be seen. They seemed to have seen Huamin as well, so they walked over to greet him. Hey! Wei Liao was the first to speak. Xiaowei didn't come? Huamin asked. She's been sleepy lately. I don't know why, but she can fall asleep while eating. She doesn't like to go out. Wei Liao scratched the back of his head, looking confused. Huamin chuckled when he heard this. What are you laughing at? Wei Liao was confused. It's normal for her to be pregnant. You really need to buy a book to learn more. All right, there's something important that I need to tell you. Huamin suddenly thought of something. What is it? Wei Liao looked at her confusedly. Come here, I'll tell you in private. It's not convenient for others to know. Huamin gestured with her finger and said mysteriously. Wei Liao obediently walked over. Tang Chuan expressed his interest and wanted to eavesdrop, but he had just taken 2 steps when Su Yu grabbed him by the collar and pulled him back. Lord Su, what are you doing? Even if you're biased towards Huamin, you don't have to be so obvious and use your brother as an example, do you? They're chatting alone. Why are you butting in? Su Yu rolled his eyes at him. After Wei Liao walked over alone, he heard Huamin say in a low voice, In the first 3 months of Xiao Wei's pregnancy, we can't. Wei Liao suddenly felt awkward. You'll have a miscarriage. It's really serious. You can do it in the middle stage, but you can't do it too vigorously. You can't do it in the last 3 months either. Wei Liao didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he saw how serious Nian Nian was. What are you laughing at? Do you remember it? It's true. I'm not trying to scare you, Huamin reminded him. Got it, Dr. Hua. Wei Liao smiled. Okay, I'll leave first then. After giving his instructions, Huamin turned around and went to look for Qin Chu. Wei Liao didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he returned to Lord Su's side. Hurry up and tell me, what did Huamin and you conspire? Tang Chuan gossiped. Conspire your ass. Dr. Hua is very professional. He taught me some professional knowledge. Wei Liao smiled. Then he meaningfully patted Su Yu's shoulder and slowly said, Lord Su, I know why you like Huamin this afternoon. But Su Yu was confused. Because she's just too fucking cute? After saying that, Wei Liao laughed out loud. When he thought about how Huamin had seriously told him about sex, he was about to flip over. She was clearly a 24-year-old girl, but she pretended to be an old expert. She was so long-winded. It was too funny. Su Yu was speechless. So, did Huamin call you over to tell you a joke? Su Yu didn't understand what Huamin said to him that made him laugh like crazy. No, Huamin told me that she's slightly pregnant. She can't be too intense. Ha! Oh my God, I'm dying of laughter. Tang Chuan immediately laughed until he was swaying back and forth. Su Yu suddenly sweated. Isn't that obvious? Who would ravage a pregnant woman? Su Yu also thought that Huamin was unbelievably cute sometimes. Huamin originally wanted to find Su Yu, but on the way, he unexpectedly ran into Hua Xiqian. Hey, little sister Mian, I haven't seen you in a few days. I've missed you. Hua Xiqian always had the guts to tease him. He was wearing a gray suit and looked very energetic. His female companion wasn't Emo Shui, but a big-breasted girl that he had never seen before. Chapter 1096. What a coincidence, I don't miss you at all. Huamian looked into Hua Xiqian's eyes and said word by word. Huh, it's okay as long as I miss you. Hua Xiqian seemed to have endless patience for Huamin. Has the old man been looking for you lately? No. Huamin replied. Oh, then I guess it'll be soon. Hua Xiqian took a sip of champagne and said slowly. What? You've already started? Smart, I already said I like you. Who wouldn't like such a smart sister? Hua Xiqian looked at Huamin with a smile. Okay, I won't waste time with you. Although Huamin didn't dislike Hua Xiqian as much as before, he still felt a little guarded and didn't want to talk too much. Hua Xiao, a young lady Qin is your sister. No. Hua Xiqian replied nonchalantly. I heard that she's involved with Su Yu. The big-breasted girl said. You saw it? Hua Xiqian turned his head, his eyes sharp. No, I heard it from someone else, the big-breasted girl explained. Oh really? I also heard that your breasts are made of silicone. How is that possible? My breasts are real. The woman purposely puffed out her chest as if to prove something to Hua Xiqian. Yes, that's why what you see with your eyes is real. Don't always listen to other people. Hua Xiqian seemed a little annoyed. Who dared to say bad things about Huamin in front of him? He would make life difficult for anyone. The big-breasted girl immediately shut up after hearing Su Yu's words. Hua Xiqian didn't want to talk to her and turned to walk in the other direction. On the other side was Song Yishe in a long black gown. She wore a white mink shawl and looked extremely luxurious. She held Mayor Song's wrist, and the father and daughter immediately became the center of attention as soon as they walked in. The media surrounded them, interviewing them and taking photos. Song Yishe always had an elegant smile when she was in front of the camera, but her face would darken as soon as the lights couldn't reach her. After being photographed by the media, Mayor Song chatted with some celebrities. Song Yishe took a glass of red wine and looked around, as if looking for someone. Are you looking for me, Miss Song? Hua Xiqian smiled. What a coincidence, President Hua. Song Yishe was very distant from Hua Xiqian. Maybe it was because of an unpleasant conversation from before. Song Yisher did not have a good impression of Huasiqian. She finally saw Qin Chu's figure and was about to go over. Huasiqian stopped her. "Miss Song, I heard that you started an art school. Congratulations, let's have a drink." Song Yisher was in a hurry to see Qin Chu, so she could only raise her glass. However, when she clinked glasses with Huasiqian, Huasiqian lost his grip and spilled red wine all over her. The black gown didn't matter. Couldn't he tell? However, the white mink fur was dyed red. Song Yisher was instantly flustered and exasperated. "Oh, look at me. I'm so embarrassed. I get nervous when I see a beauty." "I'm so sorry, Miss Song," Huasiqian apologized with a smile. Song Yisher wanted to flip out, but there were too many people and media. Therefore, she could only grit her teeth and reply, "You're welcome." However, looking at her eyes, she really wanted to kill Huasiqian. He obviously did it on purpose. Who would believe that his hand was trembling? Song Yisher had no choice but to go to the lounge to change. Huasiqian looked at everyone with a smile and drank a little wine. He was in a particularly good mood today. Huamin sat quietly in a corner. She didn't like to socialize, but she didn't want to ruin the atmosphere. She just wanted to quietly wait for Qin Chu. However, she didn't expect to see a shocking scene. A few socialites surrounded him, including Hua Yanyan. However, she didn't seem to be welcomed. "Young Master Shin, let's have a drink together," Hua Yanyan said. Before he could say anything, a socialite scolded her. "Why don't you take a look at yourself? You want to chase young Master Shin? Do you have any shame? Don't you know who you are? Everyone in our circle knows that your mother had an affair and gave birth to your brother. Didn't your father test your blood type? Don't tell me he's raising his daughter for his neighbor." After the socialite said this, everyone burst into laughter. Hua Yanyan stood there like an idiot. She held back her tears but didn't dare to say anything. Chapter 1097. Ever since Xinjiani's scandal was exposed, Hua Jinghai's attitude towards Hua Yanyan had worsened. Hua Yanyan basically had full control over her money, and Huasiqian had taken advantage of her before. Xinjiani and her children lost all of their savings, so Hua Yanyan was no longer the arrogant girl she used to be. Instead, she suddenly became a downtrodden rich girl. She was still able to survive in this industry mostly because her last name was Hua. Her crazy pursuit of Xinmingxi was treated as a joke by the people in the industry. Although Huamin didn't like Hua Yanyan, she was still annoyed to see her being treated like a dog in this kind of situation. What she hated the most in her life were people who kicked people when they were down. When Hua Yanyan was doing well, she had friends everywhere and spent tons of money to treat them to food and drinks. Now that she was down, everyone stepped on her. What the snobbish person! Hua Yanyan was well aware of her identity. She was no longer the brainless idiot she used to be, so she didn't dare to say anything when people made fun of her. She was afraid of offending people she couldn't afford to offend. However, she really liked Xinmingxi. Previously, she tried to hit on Su Yu mostly because of Su Yu's power and wealth in the city, as well as his huge influence. However, Hua Yanyan really liked Xinmingxi. Otherwise, she wouldn't have risked being laughed at by everyone to get close to him. Huamin couldn't stand it anymore. She slammed the champagne in her hand on the table and walked over with a smile. "Yanyan, why didn't you tell me you were coming?" Huamin intimately held Hua Yanyan's hand. She turned around and was flattered to see Huamin. "Lady Qin." When the socialites saw Huamin walk over, they all stepped back and nodded to greet her. Huamin glanced at their faces one by one, smiling without saying anything. Then, she walked up to Xinmingxi and said, "Yanyan admires young Master Xin very much. Would you do me the honor of having a drink with her?" Xinmingxi didn't know Huamin, but he knew she was the woman Su Yu liked, so he glanced at her silently. She actually gave him face and raised the wine glass in her hand. "Miss Hua?" The usually stoic young Master Xin raised his glass. Hua Yanyan was pleasantly surprised and even a little stunned. "Young Master Xin is talking to you," Huamin reminded her. I. Hua Yanyan didn't say a word for half a year. In the end, it was Huamin who reminded her. She then raised her glass and took a sip with Xinmingxi. "Young Master Xin, my name is Hua Yanyan," Hui Yanyan stuttered as she introduced herself. Shen Mingxi nodded, indicating that he understood, but his expression was indifferent. Thank you, young Master Shen. I'll leave you to your work, I'll talk to you later, Hu Min said with a smile. Then, he dragged Hui Yanyan away. Chapter 1098. You don't have to be so polite with me. I don't want to help you. I just don't like the way those people act, Hu Min said calmly. Hui Yanyan smiled bitterly and said in a low voice, Ever since my mom's accident, I've gotten used to it. They're all the same. If you have money and power, they'll play with you. If you don't, you deserve to be stepped on. So you're going to marry into a rich family to turn your life around? Hu Min asked. Hui Yanyan shook her head. I had this idea in the beginning. That's why I pestered Suyu. I knew Suyu wouldn't even look at me, but I still clung to him like glue. At that time, I wanted to use the Su family to turn my life around. It's not that I didn't want to avenge myself, but later, I figured out something. What is it? It's just that once a relationship is involved with benefits, it's actually quite meaningless. A person's life is so short, only a few decades. If I have to involve benefits in my own marriage, I guess I won't be happy in this life. Moreover, I won't necessarily be happy even if I marry into a rich family. They won't necessarily take a fancy to me. If you understand the logic, why are you still pestering Shen Mingxi? Hu Min didn't understand. That's because I really like him. Hui Yanyan said word by word. Then she continued, Young Master Shen is my classmate in middle school. When he was in middle school, he was already the most handsome boy in school. Not only me, but all the girls in school liked him. After that, he went abroad for many years and disappeared without a trace. I thought that I would never see him again in my life. I didn't expect that he would suddenly come back on young Master Su's birthday. The first time I saw him, I felt my heart skip a beat. I've never felt that way before. It's really magical. I don't want to miss this opportunity, so I shamelessly pursued him. But you know what? You won't be able to marry into the Shen family. Not to mention how many competitors you have, Shen Mingxi has Wei Ying by his side. Many socialites have no choice but to admit defeat. You know the Wei family's background and what kind of person Wei Ying is. Hu Min was close to Jiang Xiaowei, so he often heard about her and Shen Mingxi. Wei Ying liked Shen Mingxi as well, even though Shen Mingxi hadn't said anything and they weren't officially dating. However, the Shen family and the Wei family seemed to have already decided on this matter internally. Wei Liao had said more than once that the Shen, Wei, and Liang families would unite by marriage. This was an indisputable fact. I know. Actually, I don't want to marry into the Shen family. I just want Shen Mingxi to know that there's another woman named Hui Yanyan who likes him. That's all. Hui Yanyan smiled foolishly. To be honest, it was quite sad to see Hui Yanyan like this. Fine. All right, that's your business. But you should be more careful in the future. Don't do those things that humiliate yourself. Why are you asking for humiliation? If you want to make a comeback, you should find someone who can accept you and marry you. If you want love, you should find someone who loves you very much. He doesn't care about your appearance or family background, and he doesn't care about the scandals on you. After all, people are realistic. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to know yourself. Hu Min's words were a bit harsh, but she wanted to remind Hui Yanyan not to do meaningless things. She thought that Hui Yanyan would be angry and refute her, but to her surprise, she nodded obediently. I'll remember what you said. Hu Min, I have to say, you're very generous. No wonder so many people like you and your achievements today. It has a lot to do with your personality. I used to be very jealous of you, and I envied you a lot. Later, I realized that no matter how much I change, I'll never reach your level, so I won't have everything you have. Hu Min looked at her without saying anything, but there was a complicated look in her eyes. She never thought that one day, the stupid Hui Yanyan would have an epiphany and understand a lot of life principles. It was really difficult. Okay, then you're on your own. After speaking, Hu Min turned to leave. Sister Hu Min, I know you're very smart. I'm willing to be your slave and maid, but can you help me deal with Hu Xiqin? I really hate him. Hui Yanyan said behind Hu Min. The Hu Min, who was about to leave, paused. Chapter 1099. Wuxia. I can deal with him, but I won't help you because the price is too high. Even if you work for me, you won't be able to make up for the losses. I have to weigh the pros and cons before I do anything. Let's not talk about our past conflicts, but based on our current relationship, even if you give me all of your shares, I still won't help you. After speaking, Huamin turned around and left. Huayan stood there, seemingly slightly disappointed. In the past, every time her mother told her that she wasn't as smart as Huamin, she wouldn't accept it. But now, it seemed like Huamin was really smart. Whatever she said or did, it was not without rhyme or reason. Therefore, she definitely had the ability to deal with Wuxia. Plus, Huamin had a huge backer like Qin Chu behind him. Unfortunately, Huamin wouldn't agree to her request. Huamin was right, the price of dealing with Wuxia was too high, and she would have to sacrifice too much. He didn't have to do that, not to mention that he did it to help her. Wasn't that a joke? Huamin walked over and leaned against a corner. Just as she was about to grab some food, Qin Chu walked over. Huamin hugged Huamin's shoulder. Honey, are you tired? Qin Chu asked gently. Huamin shook her head. If you're tired, we'll go back first. It's okay, you can stay a little longer. Rick is a good friend of yours, so it's worth it for you to support him. You're the smartest. I do have a good relationship with Rick, and he's helped me a lot. It's not something that can be calculated with money, so, do you think I'm that immature? Huamin smiled. Qin Chu reached out and rubbed her face lovingly. Not far away, Song Yisha saw this scene and felt like her heart was about to explode. Why? Why did Qin Chu love her so much even though Huamin was not as good-looking as her? He didn't even look at her. Thinking of this, Song Yisha walked over in her high heels. Her mink shawl was stained by Wuxia with red wine. She had changed into a dark blue evening gown, and her hair was slightly coiled up, looking very elegant. Everyone was smiling from all angles. Coupled with her identity, she had indeed become the center of attention. Unfortunately, no matter how she dressed up, no matter how perfect she was, Qin Chu was not interested. Qin Chu! From afar, she called out. Huamin and Qin Chu were being lovey-dovey. When they heard the sound, they both turned their heads. The moment he saw Song Yisha, Huamin stopped smiling, and his mood instantly soured. Qin Chu looked at him with slightly annoyance. When did you guys get here? Why didn't I see you guys just now? She smiled as if she was still trying to get closer to Huamin. Qin Chu had no intention of answering. Huamin nodded. We've been here for a while. Qin Chu, my dad is here too. He was just asking about you. Song Yisha looked at Qin Chu and smiled. I already greeted him, Qin Chu said faintly. Oh, I see. Song Yisha felt a little awkward. Huamin suddenly thought of something and smiled at Song Yisha. Miss Song, thank you for recording a video of me at the Wei family's wedding. My husband saw how I played the piano. Because of this, he promised to buy me a good piano. Thank you, you're so nice. My friend forgot to record it, but you still remembered to record it for me. Plus, the angle was really beautiful. Song Yisha's expression immediately changed upon hearing this. Then she smiled awkwardly and said, Really? I'm glad you like it. Of course I like it, I even saved the video. My husband also said that he didn't know that I could play pop music so well. After speaking, Huamin kissed Qin Chu's right cheek in front of Song Yisha. This sudden kiss made Mr. Qin's heart feel sweet and fuzzy. Song Yisha could only smile awkwardly. What could be more awkward than this? She never would have dreamed that Huamin would treat this as a joke. It was really awkward. Oh right, Miss Song, why are you so nice to me? Not only did you send the video to my husband, but you also sent the video to my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law came over to ask me how I could play the piano so well. You've helped me so much, how can I thank you? Huamin continued to hold onto Qin Chu's arm and smiled at Song Yisha as if she was telling the truth. This time, Song Yisha really couldn't hold back her pride anymore. Her face turned green and white. It was a beautiful sight to behold. Chapter 1100. You're welcome. I just casually took a picture. Song Yisha looked extremely awkward as she spoke. You're so talented in photography, no wonder you're studying art. When you have time, I'll ask you to take a picture for me, okay? Huamin continued to smile like a blooming flower. Song Yisha was speechless. Huh? Oh right. Do you want one of the 13 shops on the pedestrian street to be used as a photo studio? Song Yisha was speechless. Honey, let's go take a picture with Rick. Qin Chu held onto Huamin's hand, not allowing her to talk to Song Yisha. Miss Song, my husband and I are going to work now. Huamin waved her hand and held onto Qin Chu's arm as they walked to the other side of the street. Looking at Huamin's back, Song Yisha gritted her teeth. How come she didn't realize that Huamin was so powerful? His smile was enough to kill people. Song Yisha's IQ wasn't low, but Huamin's words made her completely speechless. After they left, Qin Chu lovingly pinched Huamin's face. When did I agree to buy you a piano, huh? Are you trying to blackmail me? Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. I was just saying. I didn't mean to piss Song Yisha off. Did you see how happy she looked just now? I knew she's no match for you. You didn't talk to her before, so she probably thought you were easy to bully. Now you realize that I'm not someone to be trifled with, right? Huamin smiled proudly. Of course, when my wife gets serious, not many women in the world can compete with her, Qin Chu complimented. Honey, if that's what you want to say, then I'm very happy. The husband and wife echoed each other as they walked to the other side. She stood next to Rick and allowed the media to take photos of her. With GK's president on stage, Rick's private party was instantly elevated to another level. During this time, many famous nobles came in one after another to show their support. Everyone was wearing evening gowns, but Huamian noticed a girl in a red checkered coat eating ice cream in a corner. The style was completely out of place here. The girl was very beautiful. She had long hair, big eyes, and no makeup, but she was stunning at first glance. That girl is so pretty, Huamin murmured. Qin Chu didn't care, because he wasn't interested in any woman other than Huamin. Rick's expression changed and he said apologetically, "Excuse me." Then he walked towards the girl. Is that Rick's girlfriend? Huamin asked curiously. I haven't heard him mention it yet, but looking at how nervous he is, I'm pretty sure it's her, Qin Chu guessed. The girl quietly ate ice cream in the corner with her head down, and very few people paid attention to her. Perhaps she wanted to be in a place with fewer people so that she wouldn't attract attention. Cece, where's your dress? I got it dirty when I ate ice cream, so I changed into my own clothes. I hope I'm not bothering you. If I am, I'll leave right now. I don't want to embarrass you. Then the girl stood up to leave. However, Rick grabbed her hand. It's okay, you look good in this. Rick's eyes were filled with endless gentleness. Before, he didn't understand why Qin Chu was so nervous around Huamin, but now he finally understood why. From afar, Huamin looked at Rick and the girl. Then she leaned on Qin Chu's shoulder and smiled. Qin and Huamian seemed to like to show off their affection. Good thing I'm not a dog. After speaking, Tang Chuan immediately hugged his hot girlfriend tightly. I'm not either. Wei Liao immediately clarified proudly. As someone who had just gotten married, he had the right to say that he was no longer single. After speaking, both of them looked at Su Yu in unison. Su Yu was drinking, but when he heard what Huamian said, his hand holding the red wine froze for a second. So, I'm being attacked for no reason? Lord Su asked with an aggrieved expression. Chapter 1101. Lord Su, we didn't say anything. Tang Chuan burst into laughter. Yeah, we didn't name ourselves. Lord Su, don't take it personally, Wei Liao chimed in. Don't pretend. Do you think I don't know what you two are up to? But you can say whatever you want, I'm used to it. After speaking, Su Yu lowered his head and continued to drink. Not far away, Huamin leaned on Qin Chu's shoulder and said something with a smile. Su Yu must have seen it. However, he didn't say anything. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan were too embarrassed to continue teasing him. They all felt sorry for Su Yu for 10 seconds. Every time Qin Chu and Huamian abused Su Yu, they would silently feel sorry for Su Yu, but there was nothing wrong with being lovey-dovey. They only knew that Su Yu was upset, but they didn't know that every time Qin Chu abused Huamian, there was someone else who was even more upset than Su Yu. It was just that no one knew, so no one paid attention to him. Wuxia leaned against a round pillar with a glass of champagne in his hand. His female companion was sent away by him, and he just quietly drank his wine with a smile on his face. However, his heart was already in turmoil. He was a person who wouldn't give up until he reached his goal, so he was very patient with Huamin. He had waited for so many years, so a little longer wouldn't make a difference. Huamin glanced over and accidentally met Wuxia's eyes. Wuxia immediately raised the glass in his hand with a smile. Huamin turned his head and didn't respond. However, it didn't matter, he was already used to it. After leaving the party, Huamin and Qin Chu didn't go home directly. Instead, they went to Sky Blessing Court. Ever since Jixin left the country, her mother, Yang Merung, had been a lot more free and lonely. Huamin also came home more often. He was afraid that his mother would be lonely, so he often went to accompany her. When they arrived, their mother was still having dinner, and there was one more person in the house. It was a little girl. She looked average and was very thin. She had a braid and looked a little old-fashioned. She was wearing a white floral shirt. "You're back?" His mother stood up immediately. "Mom? How did you just find out? What time is it?" Huamin went over and held his mother's hand. I'm not very hungry today. I was just waiting for Xiaoping to come and eat together. By the way, you haven't met her yet, right? Your uncle's eldest daughter, Yang Xiaoping." Huamian looked in the direction of the voice and saw a girl who looked a little immature. "Xiaoping, this is Mian." "Hi, Sister Mian." The girl stood up and stammered. "Hello." "Mian, Xiaoping has grown up, right? She's already 20 years old, 1 year older than our Jixin." Yang Merong seemed to be in a good mood when she saw her family, especially her niece. "Yeah," Huamin said perfunctorily. However, his tone didn't have the enthusiasm of seeing a family member he hadn't seen in a long time. "Xiaoping, that's my brother-in-law. He's amazing, he's the president of a big company." Yang Merong pointed at Qin Chu and proudly introduced him. The moment the girl saw Qin Chu, she froze. She grew up in the countryside and didn't know much. The presidents and big bosses she saw on TV were all older men. Maybe he was bald and had a big belly, or maybe he was short and buck-toothed. However, she had never seen such a young, good-looking man who was also a president. Yang Xiaoping felt her heart beat a lot faster. For a moment, she was in a daze. "Xiaoping, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and call him your brother-in-law," Yang Meirong urged. "As long as my mom is happy, I don't mind. China's good daughter." Qin Chu smiled. I'll strive to be China's good wife in the future. That's a bit difficult." Qin Chu smiled meaningfully. "What's difficult?" Huamin didn't understand. "If you want to be China's good wife, you have to know all 108 positions. Unfortunately, you're only at the upper and lower positions. You're still far from that." After Qin Chu finished speaking, Huamin immediately reacted. He punched him. "Honey, you're so perverted." The couple drove home happily and sweetly. On the other hand, Song Yisher's mind was in a mess. She saw that Huamin seemed fine. That shouldn't be the case. Could it be that Mama Qin didn't cause trouble for her? She thought about it and felt uneasy, so she drove directly to the Qin manor. Inside the manor, Song Yisher knocked on the door and walked in. She saw Lady Qin sitting in the living room, eating fruit and drinking tea. "Mama Qin," she called out sweetly. Chapter 1103. "Oh, sure, you're here," Lady Qin said faintly without getting up. Song Yisher suddenly felt that Lady Qin's attitude was a lot colder than before. Was she overthinking things? "Mama Qin, have you had dinner yet? I bought you shrimp dumplings from Li Ji Kanji shop." Song Yisher handed her a lunchbox as she spoke. "Oh, I'm done. It's okay, you can give it to your parents," Lady Qin said faintly. "Mantin, what's wrong?" Song Yisher finally realized what was going on. Lady Qin never had this kind of attitude in the past. "Nothing. I just ate already. It's going to spoil tomorrow anyway, so it's a waste. Why don't you take it back and give it to your parents?" Lady Qin replied with a smile. Why would I? It's a gift for you, so it's okay if you don't eat it. It's a token of my sincerity. Song Yisher smiled as she put down the lunchbox. Then, she sat down next to Lady Qin. Mama Qin, did you ask Huamin about what happened the other day? I didn't. Lady Qin picked up her teacup and replied faintly. Ah. Song Yisher didn't expect her to answer like that. Lady Qin continued, actually, I was too harsh on Huamin. It's not a big deal for her to play the piano in public. Otherwise, why would everyone see it? It's not like they were meeting in private. Maybe she did it on purpose to hide something? Huamin is very smart, Song Yisher encouraged. Lady Qin slowly put down her teacup, glanced at Song Yisher, and said, in the past, I might have thought that way, but now that I think about it, I'm old and confused. Tell me, what's more important than a person's life? If a person dies, what's the point of wealth and status? If Huamin is willing to live and die with Chu, it means that she truly loves him, not just for vanity. So, I don't want to ruin their relationship because of these small things. Right now, I just hope that they can have a child soon. I want to have grandchildren soon. Lady Qin's words and attitude left Song Yisher speechless. Mrs. Qin continued, I used to be biased against Huamian, so I didn't like her all these years. Now that I think about it, it's also because of what happened many years ago that I didn't dare to treat her well because I was afraid that she would still hate me. Now I know how stupid I was. If Huamian hated me, she wouldn't have married Chu. I was just jealous of a gentleman. I'm old and sometimes I get muddle-headed. Some random people say a few words to me, and they can mess with me. Actually, why do I have to do that? No matter how good other people are, they're still outsiders. Old Qin, Chu, and I, and Huamian, we're a real family. Why do I have to listen to others trying to drive a wedge between us? At this moment, Song Yisher's expression was extremely ugly. Seeing her expression, Lady Qin immediately grabbed her hand and laughed. Sure, don't think too much. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the people in the company. Those people like to gossip and don't like our family, so they keep stirring up trouble and stirring up trouble. They're really despicable. Everyone says that my son doesn't like those women. If it were me, I wouldn't like those women either. Huamin's personality is a bit cold, but after spending some time together, I realized that he's a pretty good person. At this moment, Song Yisher's heart was in turmoil. She had always used Lady Qin as a tool, but she never thought that one day, she would be forced to this point. Lady Qin's words were like a slap to her face, but she couldn't get angry. Sure. Tell me, am I right? Lady Qin deliberately held onto Song Yisher's hand intimately as she asked. Mama Qin, right? Song Yisher smiled awkwardly. This was the second time today that she had been bullied. She felt like thousands of alpacas were running through her heart. Mama Qin, Huamin and Qin Chu have been married for so long, but they still haven't had a child. If they never have one in the future, what will you think? Song Yisher was quite smart, so she decided to start from another angle. Chapter 1104. As expected, Lady Qin's expression changed slightly when she heard about the baby. I do want a grandchild, but if there isn't one, then I'm not in a hurry. I believe that this is fate. Some couples even get a grandchild after 3 to 5 years of marriage. They've both had checkups and are healthy, so I'll just have to wait patiently. Mama Qin, you've suddenly changed a lot. A lot of your opinions and attitudes are different from before, Song Yisher said with a bitter smile. Yeah, the people I used to interact with weren't good either. They were all a bunch of despicable people. Those rich ladies, milk means money. They only befriended me because my family was rich, so why would I talk to them? Also, as the saying goes, distance tests a horse's strength, and time reveals a person's heart. As time goes by, I'll know whether some people are humans or ghosts. After all, no one is stupid forever, right? Hi, yeah. Song Yisher still felt awkward. Sure, you too. In the future, when you find a man, you have to be careful. Don't find someone who's nice in front of you but is a ghost behind your back. That kind of man, no matter how good he looks or how good his family background is, won't be liked by anyone. Lady Qin even gave her a piece of advice out of the kindness of her heart. I know, Mama Qin. Then, Lady Qin began to chat with her. Song Yixia finally lost her patience. Mama Qin, it's getting late, I'm going to leave now. Okay, bye. Lady Qin waved her hand and said goodbye. As Song Yixia drove out of the Qin manor, she was filled with anger. She smashed the steering wheel. You old thing, how dare you insult me indirectly? You'll suffer in the future. They originally thought that they could use Lady Qin's prejudice against Huamin to drive a wedge between them. However, the fact that Huamin was willing to risk his life for Qin Chu made Qin Chu's parents look at him in a different light. Even if she had any objections, she would not have them anymore. She would not treat Huamin with the same attitude as before. Lady Qin was simple-minded, so it was inevitable that she would get hot-headed sometimes, but that day at South Hill Manor, after being criticized by Qin Chu and Huamin, he chatted with Uncle Li for a while. Only then did he discover many truths that he didn't know. She also began to understand Song Yixia's true colors. On Friday, GK's year-end thank you banquet was held on Yunding Mountain. After Huamin got off work on Friday, he took Qin Chu's car and went there directly. Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran also went with them. Jiang Xiaowei was pregnant and it was inconvenient for her to travel so far away, so she didn't go. But on WeChat she kept complaining. She even said that she would only give birth once, regardless of whether it was a boy or a girl. She would never have a second child in the future because it was too inconvenient. Pregnant women were like a strange species that was discriminated against. There were many things that they could not do. There were many things that could not be eaten, and there were many places that could not be visited. There were also many positions that could not be used. Jiang Xiaowei was so angry that she kept torturing Wei Liao. In order to make his wife happy, Wei Liao booked a Western restaurant and had dinner with Su Yu, Tang Chuan, and the others. While eating, Jiang Xiaowei would occasionally pick up her phone and send WeChat messages. Occasionally she would even giggle, "Sister-in-law, are you cheating on me? Young Master Wei is right next to you. Who are you chatting so happily with?" Tang Chuan teased. Before Jiang Xiaowei could reply, Wei Liao answered for her. "Other than Huamin, I can't think of anyone else." Good thing you're a girl, or else you'd be the second Lord Su. You're all so smitten by Huamin that you don't know where you're going." Tang Chuan laughed maniacally. "So I'm being attacked again?" Su Yu felt like he had been very unlucky recently. No matter what happened, he would be dragged into it. His chances of being attacked increased exponentially. Huamin and Qin Chu are going to Yunding Mountain for GK's end-of-year celebration. Lingling and Captain Gao are going too. "I want to go too," Jiang Xiaowei complained. "Be a little good. Let's not go. Yunding Mountain is just a poor ravine." "It's boring," Wei Liao comforted her. "Phew, do you think I'm stupid? Yunding Mountain is GK's top resort. It has hot springs, a ski resort, a green vegetable plantation, and a unique red maple forest." Jiang Xiaowei was immediately irritated. Wei Liao immediately shut up. Mian just took a selfie. It's so rare. Who wants to see it?" Jiang Xiaowei picked up her phone and asked with a proud smile. Everyone immediately looked towards Su Yu. "You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.